ho, ho, everybody! It's Brit and Jacob Go to the Movies, once again. I'm Britton.
And I'm Jacob.
And this is basically our Christmas special. And also, and I am sad to say it, our last Spider-Man episode, at least with the live-action movies, because, we've made it a point to talk about all the live-action Spider-Man movies up to this point.
Mm-hmm.
And we have mutually agreed that this would be the last one, because I did consider doing one on Into the Spider-Verse, but me and Jacob made a mutual decision that we'll wait till that movie comes closer, and then maybe we can talk about it. Or at least that's what I'd like to do. Anyway. So, yeah. We're talking about Spider-Man No Way Home today, and man, I feel like I'm at the end of, like, a great journey. Like, the end of The Return of the King, when everyone's back at the Shire. Like, that's me right now.
Oh, yeah. Me too. We're going to go out with a bang with our last Spider-Man episode.
Oh, man, and what better movie to talk about than Spider-Man No Way Home? And I've been excited. As you could tell from last week's episode, if you watched that, oh, man, we both loved Spider-Man No Way Home. I mean...
oh my god.
So spoiler alert, No Way Home is amazing.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it so much.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I freaking love it.
Oh my god. It's just... Oh, what can I make of this? I mean, it's the perfect Christmas movie, because it gave you everything. It's that cool uncle who gives you all the awesome presents for Christmas.
Exactly.
Oh my god. This movie was amazing. I'm just gonna say. It's one of those movies that reminds me why I love movies. And, I just saw The Kingsman today, and let me tell you, that movie was a bit deflating. But I am excited to talk about this movie, because, man, this film gets me... It reminds me why I love going to the movies and seeing movies.
Oh, yeah, me too. When I first saw it in theaters, the experience was, unforgettable.
Oh, man, I remember I texted him right as I got out from the movie, like, dude, you gotta see this as soon as possible, because I need to talk to somebody about this movie.
Oh, yeah, and I was like, I texted you, I was like, I'm sitting in my seat right now, waiting for the movie to start.
Oh, my God, this movie is just... this film... I have to say, this is going to be a hot take, but this may be a hot take, but this might be the best live-action Spider-Man movie since Spider-Man 2. Like, I am not even kidding.
Oh, I think so. By far the best MCU Spidey film, and I would say it is the best live-action Spider-Man film since Spider-Man 2. This film gave me everything that I've wanted and more. There were surprises, a lot of emotions, a lot of heart, and... just so many things that so unexpected that you would never have imagined. This movie just gave me everything I've wanted. I'm so happy.
Oh man, this film. Oh, it was just everything I wanted, and even some more. There was a lot of stuff in this movie that I didn't expect.
Me either.
And I cannot wait to really dive into this, because this film was just beautiful.
Oh boy. I cannot wait.
Oh my god. So, what's your, blurb thoughts on these movies, aside from us gushing about it for a couple minutes?
Alright, the MCU Spider-Man movies overall, Homecoming I really liked. It was a really refreshing change of pace for Spider-Man. And Far From Home, I still enjoy, but by no means one of my favorite Spider-Man movies. A bit underwhelming in my opinion, but still a solid one. But No Way Home, holy shit. Man, when I first, by the way, when I first tried to get tickets, it was a shit show. I mean, you can ask Britton. It was a shit show. The movie was huge. Tickets were selling
Oh
fast.
My god, yeah, we were talking about it a few weeks ago. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but...
Oh, you're good. But yeah, I managed to get tickets, and I saw it with a good old buddy of mine, and let me tell you, it was the best movie theater experience I've ever had. There was crying, there was cheering, there was screaming. Man, a lot more of that than in Endgame, and that's saying a lot. This movie, and not just because of that, this movie gives you fan service and all the things you would have expected, but also manages to tell Tom Holland's story, him becoming Spider-Man. That's both emotional and extremely satisfying, and I just freaking loved it.
Yeah, he's not Spider-Boy anymore. He's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. This film was basically a love letter to Spider-Man as a character and why so many people love him, but also captures the core of Spider-Man's character beautifully. There's fan service in this movie, but it doesn't feel cheap, which is very refreshing. But yeah, this film is amazing.
It truly is amazing.
Oh my god, I cheered like 3 times, and let me tell you, it was very magical being in that theater and everyone was celebrating while those particular moments are about to, you know.
Oh, yeah, like, that's an experience I'll never forget. Like, when I was at the theater, there were people cosplaying as Spider-Man, and I was like, man, this movie's freaking huge. I was so excited. Even the second time I saw it, I was cheering and screaming and crying as much as I did the first time I saw it.
Oh man, I mean it's great. I mean there are even moments in here that got like me having that like pit in my stomach. I don't cry very much at movies. Like, it takes a bit for me to cry. But when I feel like that pit, I'm thinking, okay, this movie's good because it's making me feel something in this cold heart of mine, in this dead soul. Oh, but I love this movie. It's a movie that reminded me why I love Spider-Man so much.
Me too. This movie, like, as you said, this movie reminds me on why I love going to see movies and why I love Spider-Man as a character and why everyone relates to him so much. As you said, this is a love letter to all Spider-Man fans. This movie delivered.
Oh my god, yes. I mean, there's a bunch of meta jokes in this movie, but again, they don't feel forced. Spider-Man is great in this. Tom Holland is just phenomenal. Everybody just brings their A game to this movie. I mean, there are issues I have with it, and I will talk about it as we get into this. But I was supremely pleased with this movie.
Me too, because I had my concerns going in, but after seeing it, I was like, oh my god, this movie is spectacular. This was everything that I've wanted out of this movie.
Oh, you better believe we'll put in the spider puns in this movie. Like, it'll...
Get ready, people. A lot of Spidey puns coming.
Like, I texted him, I'm like, wow, this movie was amazing! Wink, wink, and he said, spectacular! And we just started quoting stuff from the Spider-Man comics. I love this damn movie. Really, I do.
God, honest, this might be my favorite film of this year. Maybe it's a tie between this and The Green Knight, but, No Way Home, man... I just freaking love this movie.
Oh my lord. This film was just phenomenal. I mean, we already had some, like, 2021 has been a great year to be an MCU fan. I mean, we got Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which was way better than I thought it would be. We got WandaVision, which was really good. We got Loki, which was outstanding. We got Shang-Chi, which, again, was way better than I thought it was going to be. And then we got No Way Home. I mean, we're not going to talk about The Eternals or Black Widow, because those movies... I didn't see The Eternals, really, but Black Widow was a little underwhelming. But aside from that, 2021 has been a great year to be an MCU fan.
Yeah, man. This has been a damn good year for Marvel. Man, there are so many great MCU projects.
It's like Feige and the gang's like, oh yeah, you think we're running out of ideas? Okay, I'm just gonna throw all the best shit we've ever done out right here. Just bam, bitch. Yeah. And he's just like flipping everybody off while he's like jumping in his money pool like Scrooge McDuck.
He's like, you know what? Hold my tea real quick.
He's like, oh yeah, they think I disrespect these characters. Well, fuck you. I'm gonna make a great Spider-Man movie.
And you did.
And he, I mean, I can't give it entirely to Feige. He merely produced the movie, but, we got the whole gang. Jon Watts, Chris McKenna, and Eric Sommers. It's just like, God, and like, there's... I love this film.
Man, I love this movie. So happy right now.
So, yeah, this film is, really to wrap up my blurb thoughts on this film was outstanding. A perfect way to year end the just the stroll that MCU's been on.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yes, I guess we'll fucking dive into this puppy. What do you think?
Oh yeah, let's get into this. I can't wait.
Okay, so the movie begins where we left off with Spider-Man Far From Home, and it's Peter freaking the fuck out over being Spidey. And it's really well done, actually. I really like all of the, consequences that come from him being outed to the media and everybody. And Peter is with MJ, and, well, it's basically a shit show. It's really... Ooh.
Yeah.
It's intense, too. I'm just like, oh, God, it's like starting out with a bang, huh?
Oh yeah, just from the opening titles, I was like, okay, we're getting something different here. And then we pick up right where we left off in Far From Home, and it was intense. I was like, my heart was pumping.
Oh my God, like Spidey's just like, it's okay, MJ, and they're all like, oh, Spider-Man, and there's like this fat chick who shows up. She's all like, oh, Spider-Man, and he like kind of pushes her out of the way. He's like, he attacked me. It's so freaking hilarious. And then he webs her up on the Washington Bridge, and she's all like, Peter, and he's like, oh yes, and then he ends up going back to his house, and then we see, then we switch to Aunt May and Happy Hogan, played by Jon Favreau, amazingly as usual. I mean, I love Jon Favreau in this movie.
Me too, and I gotta say this once again. I love Peter and Happy's relationship in this movie.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's just... Oh. Oh, man. So, okay, after all that chaos and craziness, we see a conversation between Aunt May and Happy Hogan, and they're just kind of having this awkward, will they, won't they kind of thing. And May's all like, oh, well, I'm a woman. This is type of world type of thing. And Happy's like, oh, well, I guess I'll try and be more fun next time. I don't know. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's so good, though. I really enjoy,
I love it.
I really enjoy it. And then Peter sneaks in through his window and takes his spider costume off, and then Aunt May's like, oh my gosh, and it's freaking hilarious. And I love the one shot, the tracking shot. It's so good in that scene.
Oh, me too. I love that. It's very different from what we have seen in like Aunt May thinking like Peter's like gonna have sex with MJ, and she's like, why are you getting so amped up about having sex? Like, and Peter's like, this ain't about sex.
Yeah. And then they turn on the TV, and Peter's like, guys, I gotta tell you something. And I love how it's like the inevitability. He's like, guys, I gotta tell you something. And then on the news, it ends up revealing that Peter is Spider-Man, and they're outside the house, and there's like helicopters outside the house.
Oh yeah, man.
It's so much happens in the first 5 minutes of this movie that it's just like it. And I love this about this movie. It just throws you into the action. It's like, look, we already set up pretty nicely the Spider-Man and Homecoming and Far From Home. Let's throw him into shit. Like it's like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just like you don't have any time to breathe. Like it's excellent.
Yeah, it's classic Spidey.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, I don't think we've ever had a Spidey out story. And in fact, this actually reminded me a lot of a Daredevil story arc called Out, which is, in my opinion, one of the greatest Daredevil stories ever written. Where Daredevil, Matt Murdock, gets his identity completely outed to the entire world after a, gangster decides to give him up. And this movie is basically reminds me of the PG-13 Spider-Man version of that. And, oh man, it's really good.
Oh, most definitely, for sure.
Then we get a montage of them getting interrogated by the DDC, the Department of Damage Control, which was from Spider-Man Homecoming. They basically clean up all the messes of the Avengers and all that. And just the douchiest FBI agent ever interrogates all of them.
Yeah, man, like, talk about being a douche-ass.
Oh my god, he's like such a jerk-ass. I wanted to punch him. Even though I probably would have gotten arrested for doing that.
Yeah.
It's so bad. It's just he's like talking up to Ned. He's like, "Yeah, man, I'm helping him." He's like, "Oh yeah, well, you just helped with the felony." And Ned's like, "Ah, shit, I like to talk." I love MJ's too. She's all like, "I'd like to speak to my lawyer."
She's like, "I know my rights."
I know my rights. Yeah, I love that. Oh my god. I love Zendaya in this movie. I should just... there's so many people in this movie who are just fucking killing it in this, but Zendaya is like an MVP of this movie. Like, she is amazing in this.
She is. She really shines in this movie. I love her in this movie.
And it's like, it's way better than Homecoming, and it's even better than Far From Home. Like, she's got a lot to do in this movie, and she's not just like the chick who's like, it's not some like contrived like chick wanting to help like Gwen, nor is she like a, girl who has to get saved all the time like MJ. Like, it's,
No, she actually...
like, she helps Peter, and it's not like contrived, and it's really nice. And it's really nice. Like, they finally got that right.
Yeah, they did. Everyone brought their A game. Like, Ned is hilarious in this.
Oh my god, he's perfect in this.
Love him.
He's just, he's still that kid. And I love their friendship in this movie, too. It's just like, oh, it's beautiful.
I love it.
Oh, my God. Oh, man. So they get arrested. May is all pissed off. She's all like, "We can sue your ass!" And it's really funny. Like, and then it's just like, it's nuts. Like, that montage is really good. And then, the first just, like, mic drop reveal of this movie, the main man... fucking Matt Murdock. Charlie Cox is back, baby, as Matt Murdock. We see him in that movie, and I was just like, I was holding it, and I was like, oh my god, he's in this movie. Here's my thing. I wasn't gonna believe it until I saw it with my own two eyes, and I saw that shit. I was like, oh my god, it's Daredevil, bro. He's back, and Charlie is like, oh my god. I was just,
oh man,
oh my god.
Man, I cannot contain my excitement. Everyone at the theater cheered. Man, I was so freaking happy.
Oh no, everyone in my theater just gasped when he showed up. I was like quietly celebrating while my dad was just like, and my dad, he had his eyes dilated, so he's like, he can barely freaking see the movie. So he's like, "Who's that?" I'm like, that's Daredevil, dude. And it's like, oh my god.
Man, I was like, Charlie Cox is back, bitches.
This is like my first like favorite part of this whole movie is when he shows up, and it's only for like a minute, and he's just oh my god, it's so good to see him back.
Man, I'm so happy to see him back.
Oh my god, and I should just note right now, I consider Daredevil, the Marvel Netflix series that Charlie Cox, who plays him in this movie, is in. I think it's one of the best superhero things ever made. Like, I'd even put it up there with, like, Spider-Man 2 and The Dark Knight. Like, it's that good, people. And
oh, yeah, man. The series is fucking phenomenal.
Oh, my God. And the weird thing about it is that they were kind of in the MCU, and then there was kind of their own thing, and now it's confirmed they're in the MCU, and I cannot be more happy that he was in this movie, even if it were for, like, a minute. And... oh my god, he's in this movie. That was like my first just like, yes.
I was telling my friend, Matt freaking Murdock is back. Charlie Cox is actually back. I'm so happy right now.
Oh my god, and he just nails it again. He's basically like getting some phone calls, and he manages to get Peter's charges dropped, thankfully, because but yeah, he basically said he's like, yeah, there is the he's like, okay, I got you from not facing any actual criminal charges, but there is the court of public opinion. So, sorry about that. And then, just a fucking baller move right here. As he's trying to explain the Happy in them, he's like, so I know your loyalty to Mr. Stark, and you're probably going to need to lawyer up a little bit. And he's all like, well, yada yada. He makes an ass out of himself. It's really funny. Then, like a fucking baller, someone throws like a brick, like says, "We believe Mysterio" through the wall. He just fucking catches that shit. He's just like, He just like caught that. I'm like, oh my god. Yes. Oh. And I love Peter and May's reaction. Like, and Peter's just like, how did you do that? And just like a boss, he's just like, I'm a very good lawyer. I'm just like, oh my god, yes! Revive Daredevil right now, MCU. Like, I want to see more of that shit. Like, oh my god. Oh my god. I can never have enough Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock, man. He's
fucking perfect.
He's amazing in the role. Like, he is so good.
He is perfect.
Oh my god, he's just like, and he catches that shit. He's like, He's like, he doesn't give a shit. He just catches that shit. He's like, yeah, I caught it. Yeah, I'm blind. I know. It's
I'm a really good lawyer.
I'm a really good lawyer. It's so perfect too. It's like, oh my god, it's perfect. Oh man, and we also got the Kingpin back in Hawkeye, which that's a whole other thing. But oh my god, I hope they bring the other Netflix guys back, the Marvel Flix cast back. They're great as well, except for maybe Finn Jones. But oh my god, he just catches that. He's like, yeah. He's just like, yeah. And that's the end of that scene. Oh my god. It's just like, and I know it would have been weird if just like all the people showed up and then here's just Daredevil. He's like, hey, I heard you were in trouble. That would have been kind of weird. But this scene, it just nails it. I love it. I love this scene.
Man, this is the first crowd-pleasing scene. Man, I was so fucking happy that they brought Charlie Cox back.
I couldn't believe it. Even after I saw it, I was like, I can't believe they did all that shit in this movie.
Like he's actually in the MCU, interacting with Peter Parker. Oh my god.
Oh my god, yes. And then it made me go like, please, revive the MCU Daredevil right now.
Do it. Do it.
And you got a perfect plate of Netflix 3 great seasons. Just keep the ball rolling, baby. Just
keep it rolling.
Just bring that shit back. Like, I mean, so beautiful.
I love it.
Oh my god. So then, Peter ends up trying to live his normal life, but then all the students are just like harassing him. There's some people who don't like him, and there's some people who do like him and are supportive of him. And yeah, it just the awkwardness of that whole situation is captured beautifully.
Oh yeah, the controversy surrounding Peter, like people are on Mysterio's side and people are defending Spidey. I love it.
Oh man, and I think they moved to Happy's apartment at this time.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's a cool apartment. Like man, I thought he was just his bodyguard. It must have been like tight. Well, they were tight, in the Iron Man movies. But, oh man, like, it's so, like, and then we get to see Peter going to high school, and he's sending, like, some stuff in, and he's, like, sending his applications, and Ned and MJ are also putting in their applications. It's kind of a big part of that, and it's like a montage of him trying to deal with it. Flashes, of course, which Tony Revolori is freaking awesome. I probably got his name wrong. I apologize. He's just perfect in this too. He's Flash. He's like, yo, he's my best friend, bro. Even though he's super douchey to him for the next couple of movies.
Yeah, he's like, he's my best friend.
Oh my god, he writes a book. Oh my god, Flashpoint.
Oh god.
Oh, it's so hilarious.
I love it. Freaking Flash, man.
Oh my god. Jon Watts, I almost said Josh Watts. Jon Watts he's all like, these fans are, you know what, you're gonna talk shit about my movie, I'm gonna give you the best Spider-Man movie ever. And that's what he did.
Yeah, and you fucking delivered.
Oh man, it's so good. Ugh. Oh my god. So, yeah, what happens is that Peter ends up working to get his MIT application. He sends it in. MJ gets hers, and then Ned sends his, and then they get some letters back. And they're like, oh, shit, buddy. So, they end up, and MJ works at, like, this diner place. Isn't it a coffee shop? I don't remember. It's a coffee shop.
Yeah.
It's like a coffee and goodie shop. Yeah. Anyway, so it's like a real dramatic thing, and then they open it, and they got rejected because of the recent controversy with Peter Parker. And again, really shows you the being Spider-Man is not an easy thing, which is basically the whole freaking theme of this movie, which is that being Spider-Man is very painful, and it also shows the biggest strength of Peter Parker, but that's for later.
Yeah, this movie really shows that being Spider-Man really sucks.
It can suck. I should put it that way.
Yeah.
So Peter goes back. He's all mopey about it, but then he sees some Doctor Strange plushies, which apparently they make that now. I guess Doctor Strange is like famous. That was never explored in the movie. Anyway. Anyway. So Peter gets the light bulb. He's like, the Sanctum Sanctorum. So he ends up going to Doctor Strange for help. And we finally get the answer about what the hell happened when Doctor Strange got snapped. I am not saying that other word, okay? It's not going to happen. I'm not saying the B word, Jacob.
It's non-existent.
It is non-existent in my brain. He got snapped, though. And one of the things I wondered is, okay, Doctor Strange was the Sorcerer Supreme. And Wong is... I guess he was doing some Wong things. I don't know what he was fucking doing. I don't know what he was doing. But my question is, what the hell happened when he got snapped? Like, did someone else become the Sorcerer Supreme? Did it just kind of, become a void? Is that going to be addressed in the next movie? Nope, Wong's the Sorcerer Supreme now.
Yeah, on a technicality, since Doctor Strange was snapped for 5 years.
Yep. And Doctor Strange is just kind of Doctor Stranging, basically. I don't know what he's doing. He's dressed up in this, like, hoodie and stuff. It's freaking hilarious. It's just like, oh, man. Benedict Cumberbatch in this, way better than in Doctor Strange. In the original movie. He's way better than this in his own movie. Which can tell you about the quality of his movie, but I digress.
Oh, yeah. Benedict Cumberbatch is amazing in this, and he has a lot of cool moments in here as well.
Yeah, like, they give him shit to do. He's not just, like, Iron Man with magic this time.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, it's his own character now. Like, he's still kind of a jerk-ass, but, he wants to do the right thing. So, it's... Like, he's an interesting character, Like, they make him interesting.
Yes.
And they give him, like, shit to do in this. And it's really awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And Benedict Cumberbatch just freaking nails that, American accent.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, my God. And, Doctor Strange, and... I like how Doctor Strange is kind of like that uncle who, like... I don't know how to describe it. He's like that uncle who gets kind of annoyed with your crap, but, he's like, he still loves you. That's kind of what he's like.
Yeah, sort of like Iron Man.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Which, one of my big things I'm really sad about with Robert Downey Jr. leaving, I wish him and Doctor Strange would have gotten more time together, because, like, that could have been such an interesting relationship, because they're both very similar people.
Oh, yeah. Very, very similar.
Like, literally, I just said, the first Doctor Strange movie is Iron Man with magic,
Yeah.
And it's just, oh my God. So, Peter ends up going to the Sanctum Sanctorum to ask for Doctor Strange help, which is explained now that Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme now, and he's kind of just doing stuff. And Doctor Strange is, I don't know what he's doing, he's just doing Doctor Strange stuff, I guess. But, Doctor Strange and him kind of talk about it. He's like, Peter, so what do I owe you the pleasure? And he's all like, oh, well, hey, sir. He's like, you don't need to call me sir. I think we're far past that. We did save half the world together. And he's like, okay, Steven. And he's just all like, that's weird, but I'll allow it. I love their relationship in this movie. Like, it's just kind of like, I wouldn't say it's exactly like him and Iron Man's relationship, or it's Peter and Spider-Man's relationship, but it is kind of like that.
Yeah.
Except Doctor Strange is a little more impatient with Peter's hijinks, as we'll see.
Yeah, he's not a Doctor Strange boy junior or something like that.
Oh God, don't even start with that. You want to start a Twitter fight, Jacob?
Well, I just did. Yeah, Twitter fight. Let's begin.
So, Peter and Doctor Strange talk about it for a minute, and he's all like, I like how they do things, like in the trailer they showed one thing, and in the movie they do it differently. And there's some people who might think that's a bit of a cop-out, but I kind of like it. It's the same scene, except it's done differently, you know? I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Me too. No, I like it too.
Anyway. So, Peter ends up going to Doctor Strange, and they talk about, like, is there anything I can do to fix this? And Doctor Strange is just kind of like, I don't know. And he's all like, could you go back in time? And he's all like, man, I lost the time stone, remember? And he's all like, oh, yeah. Yeah, you did. Anyway. So Doctor Strange is all like, He's all like, oh, I got an idea. I do have a spell that could make everyone forget that you're Spider-Man. And Peter's just like, great, let's just do that. And Wong is like, I don't know about that. And he's like, okay, whatever. And then Wong's just like, and he's like, come on. It's like, you remember, it's like that one time. And he's all like, what? He's like, precisely. And then Wong just shakes his head and is just like, all right, I'm done with this. Just be careful. And he just like fucks off to where, probably going into those ring fights again. Probably going to hang out with Shang-Chi and and Aquafina again.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang out with my buddy Shang-Chi and Katie.
Yeah, they're probably getting drunk and singing Hotel California again. Like,
yeah, we're gonna do karaoke again.
You just see him coming home and just being all like, oh God, what happened? And he's all like, oh, what? What happened with the? Oh well, no, they probably wouldn't ask that. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So Peter and Doctor Strange go into this little area. I forget exactly what it's called. Do you remember, Jacob?
I do not remember.
Oh, fuck. So he goes in this room. It's called something, but I don't fucking know what it is. And Doctor Strange is all like, okay, I'm going to do the spell. Now, don't say anything, because it'll fuck up the spell. And Peter's all like, okay, fine. So then as he's like, all right, everyone forgets that Peter Parker's Spider-Man. And Peter then... Peter, perfectly, just like he would do, he's just all like, oh, wait, my Aunt May and my girlfriend. He's all like, oh my God, okay. And then finally, after a while, the spell just goes haywire, and then Doctor Strange is like, okay, fuck this, and he contains it. So... And he's all like... And then he makes Peter leave. He just shuts him out the door. It's perfect.
Yeah. Even when Peter tries to apologize, he's like, Steven, I'm so sorry. Dr. Strange's like, call me sir.
He's like, oh, all right. And then he, like, throws him out. Oh, my God. So... Oh, yeah, it's that point where he's all like, oh, I didn't even talk to, like, the administrator people. And Doctor Strange is like, so you tried to get me to do this spell... And you didn't even ask the people yet? And he's like, oh, yeah. And he just, like, kicks him out. It's so good. It's so good.
I love it. Like, you could have called them when I couldn't and rather than, like, asking me to wipe everyone's memory out. And then Peter's like, whoa, you put it like that. Door slammed.
I love Tom Holland because he just perfectly captures Peter just being a dumb, naive kid. Not a dumb kid, that sounds mean. Being a naive kid in a lot of ways. Living in a world that is insane, like the Marvel Universe. Oh, it's wonderful.
I love it.
So, Peter is just like, oh my God. So he gets like a suit on and he decides to convince this MIT administrator to reconsider MJ and Ned. And not even him, just MJ and Ned. And decides to go, webbing about and figure that out. Funny thing about this woman, I started watching this show called Barry recently with Bill Hader. Excellent show. If anyone's seen it, you know. If you haven't, it's excellent. Please go watch it. But the lady who plays the administrator plays the cop in the first season that gets attracted to Barry's case. And I was almost a bit like, oh, it's the chick from Barry, but I didn't. But I didn't. So he goes to meet her in his Spider-Man garb. I love how casual he just swings next to her car, and he's all like, "Hey," and she's all like, "Oh, hello there," and oh man, Jacob, you take it from here, man. I feel like I've talked enough for right now.
Oh yeah. Peter tries to convince her, like, don't let MIT be dumb like me. She's like, you didn't plan this out, didn't you? And then we finally get to see Peter Parker's Spidey sense that's no longer called Peter Tingle. Thank goodness.
Oh my god, yes.
We actually get to see it in action, which is amazing.
And oh boy.
Oh boy. Our first introduction to one of the villains, we see Alfred Molina back as Dr. Octopus, and it is awesome.
Oh my god, it's so... it's like... I describe this movie, it's like seeing an old friend that you haven't seen in, like, a few years, and you have, like, a good time with them after, like, a few years of being away. That's what this movie feels like. It was so good seeing Alfred Molina as Doc Ock again. And that freaking CGI, apparently they CGI'd him to make him look like he did in, Spider-Man 2. It looks amazing.
It is seamless.
Oh my god, it's probably the best effects of that nature that I've ever seen. De-aging that I've ever seen.
They did an amazing job, and especially with the tentacles too, which is all CGI.
Yeah, it's
looks
all
magnificent.
Yeah, it's all CG, which... On the one hand, I am kind of sad that it's not the practical, but they said that it would have been a little, it would have been kind of difficult to move it around, and Alfred Molina is not as young as he was when he made Spider-Man 2, so, you know. So CGI is a bit more convenient, and they look great. I love the tentacles.
Me too. They look amazing. They look just like they did in the Spider-Man 2.
Oh my god, and I love how he looks like the original Doc Ock as well. Not in the green leotard, just like, he has the, like, goggles on, and he's got his little jacket and whatever. He just looks freaking awesome, and it's so good seeing Alfred Molina again.
Man, the audience cheered at my theater, and I was cheering too. Man, when he's like, Peter.
Yeah, I love that line too. It's so casual. He's just like, hello, Peter. And he's all like, he's like, and then Peter's just like, he's like, Peter, do I know you? He's like, don't play games with me. I'll kill your girlfriend. He's like, whoa! I love it.
Yeah, Tom is like so confused. It's like, Otto Octavius is like, what have you done with my machine? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. What machine? He's
like, don't play games with me, boy. And it's like, what the it's so fun. Because he thinks it's Tobey. And it's not Tobey. Yeah. It's it's a different Spider-Man. And, So Peter and Doc Ock have this battle, and it's freaking awesome. Like, this is, like, some of the best Spider-Man fights since, like, the Spider-Man 2. Which is ironic, because it's the last time this guy appeared in a, superhero movie. But I digress. This fight scene is amazing.
Man, I love this fight scene between Otto Octavius and Spider-Man. I love it. There's so much going on. Man, I love it. And, I can't even describe how much I love this action scene.
Oh my god. Like, it's straight out of the Raimi movies. This is like, alright, here's, it's like if Sam Raimi came on set and is like, boys, let me show you how the pros do it. And it's basically a Raimi fight scene with better effects, and it's awesome. I love it.
Man, I must say, the action, this is the best action I've seen in the MCU Spider-Man films, by far.
Oh my god, like, this, and, like, The Winter Soldier and Shang-Chi from earlier this year, fucking amazing.
I love it.
And he's all like, nanotechnology, and he's all like, I underestimated you, Peter. And then it's like really, he's all like, I'm sorry, I really don't know you, and it's really, it's so good.
When and there's when Otto Octavius is like, should have killed your girlfriend when I had the chance, and then Tom Spidey's just like, fuck this, I'm bringing out the iron arms, and Otto's like, looks like we got competition.
I love that. Oh my god. Too. It's just like he's all like, huh? He's all like, nanotech, or no, that's later. But it's just like, oh man, Alfred Molina is also just amazing in this, and he doesn't even have that much screen time, but just the stuff they do with his character in this movie is it's beautiful.
I love it.
Oh my god. And I mean, we'll get more into that later, but this fight is amazing. He ends up ripping the nanotechnology from the spider suit, and it ends up bonding with the tentacles, which I think is a really great idea. That's just really clever storytelling right there. It's like, how do we defeat the villain without like killing him off too early, or doing something that's really contrived? It's like, all right, let's connect it with the nanotechnology and let Peter control it. It's amazing. Like,
yeah,
everyone
awesome.
wanted. Everyone just came with their A game. This movie, like.
Yeah, they were like, we're gonna make this shit amazing, people.
Pun intended, he probably said, because this is a Spider-Man movie. And he's all like, oh, nanotechnology. He's like, oh, I underestimated you, Peter. And when he saves that lady, it's just like, oh my god, like, it's intense. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Sam Raimi, like, came on set and was all like, yo, can I direct this? And they're like, yeah. And he, like, directed it, and it was freaking awesome. Because it reminds me a lot of the, like, glory days of the Raimi movies.
Oh, yeah, that fight scene alone, it reminded me of the Sam Raimi movies with better CGI.
Oh, my God. It's so good. I mean, you can tell there's, like, a CGI mannequin of Alfred Molina, but I don't care, okay? This action scene's amazing.
Man, it's so fucking awesome.
Oh, my God. It's just like... And it only gets better from here, people.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyways... Peter ends up disabling the mechanical arms, which we've never seen before. And I think that's just a genius way to defeat Dr. Octopus. Because, it's often, he just, like, punches him in the face and, saves the day or whatever. Or he outsmarts him, because I do think that Doc Ock is one of, Peter's rivals in terms of mental ability. But, I think it's a really clever way to, get Octavius out of the way.
Yeah, it is. I love it.
Without becoming, like, contrived or, killing him. Because, hey, nothing's wrong with Alfred Molina as Spider-Man. Or not Spider-Man, as Dr. Octopus.
Oh, no, I'm not complaining. He's perfect.
That would have been a different movie. Anyway, so... before he stabs him, he ends up, like, not doing it and bonds his arms. It's so good. I love this scene. It's like, man. And then, like, he saves the lady, and she's all like, I'm gonna talk to everyone about you. Thank you you're a hero. And he's all like, oh, thanks, but come on, it was nothing, and then we hear a very menacing laughter from a familiar, gravelly voice. That's right, baby. This isn't just a Doc Ock party. The Green Goblin is back in town. And he ain't playing around.
Fuck, yeah. Oh,
he's in his old costume. And he's decking the freaking Power Ranger suit and everything. And
oh, yeah.
little detail I love. Willem Dafoe would not have done this movie. He said, I was not going to do this movie unless I could do my own fights.
Fuck yeah.
I love this man. Like, I love Willem Dafoe already, but this movie just made me love him more. Just like, we don't deserve this man. Like, Willem Dafoe, like, if I met this man, I would just, like, awkwardly ask him if I could hug him, and I just fucking bear hug him if he'd let me. I know that sounds weird, but I love him.
Man, he's fucking awesome.
We need more actors like Willem Dafoe in the world. I think movies would be way better with actors like Willem Dafoe, I gotta say. I love him in this as well, but we'll get to that. And I just love he comes back in style. And there were some people who are complaining on the introduction to him is Green Goblin, it's just like, oh, it just kind of cuts to him. He just shows up. And I'm like, well, I think him blowing shit up and whatnot and him showing up in his Power Ranger gear, I think that's a pretty great introduction.
Yeah, the audience cheered when they first saw the Green Goblin bomb. They were like, fuck yeah!
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, yes.
In his beautiful Power Ranger suit. Fuck yeah!
Oh my god, it's so good. It gets better from here, but he just kind of laughs, blows some shit up, and he flies away. And Peter's like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? And then Doctor Strange just like, whoop, just like pulls him using magic. And he captures Doc Ock, I think.
Oh yeah, he does.
He ends up so Strange ends up teleporting Peter back to the Sanctorum. He ends up locking Octavius back in the cell with our boy once again. They're bringing out Jon Watts is like, fuck it, we're getting all the Spidey villains. All right, they're complaining. Oh, we'll give them what they want. And we got Kirk Connors back, baby. We got Rhys Ifans back once again as Kirk Connors. And that is one of the things I might complain. They didn't really do that much with him, but aside from that, way better than turning everybody into lizards.
Yeah, and he's not a were-lizard this time.
He doesn't have the voices in his head. He's just like, he's a lizard man this time. I don't know. It's weird. But Doctor Strange is like, yeah, good job, genius. Now there's a bunch of people who know that you're Peter Parker. Now they got villains from other universes who know that you're Peter Parker. And, and he's all like, and Dr. Octavius, and, Doc Ock's just like, what is this? He's like looking around. He's like, hey, what is this? I don't get this. He's all like, it's a magical prison. He's like, magic? Ha! And he just like laughs. I love there's this little scene that I love where he like points at Peter Parker. He's like, oh, do you know that Peter Parker's Spider-Man? He's like, is Peter Parker Spider-Man? Yes. Is this him? No.
I love it.
And Strange is like, yeah. So here's what I'm going to get you to do for me. Since, I have other things I'm worrying about. You're going to capture these other villains, and you're going to, bring them back over here. And Peter's like, all right. I can't. Okay. So Strange basically explains that, that spell that Peter was messing up earlier, well, it accidentally caused people who do know who Peter Parker is back into this universe. And it's actually really interesting. What do you think, Jacob, of this scene?
It was also a really clever way to introduce these villains. Like, they're not just there for callbacks. They have a plight. They're like, yeah, this is how we're going to introduce the multiverse.
Oh, man, I loved it. I mean, this is how to do fan service, people. It's not just like, I'm going to quote Chris Stuckman's great review, where he's like, I was afraid they were going to be all like, Willem Dafoe shows up for a scene, yells, Godspeed, Spider-Man, and he just, like, blows up. He actually has, like, a part to play in the story,
Yeah, they're all in the movie. They're not just there for 2 seconds and then they're gone.
And they, like, blow up. That would have been funny, though, if he just, like, showed up, like, and he just, like, blew up. We're all like... That would have been... I bet everyone would have started rioting right there. We're like, that's bullshit!
Yeah, there would have been a lot of angry people.
No, but, yeah, it's just like, oh, God. And, so he explains that, and he's like, hey, could I bring some people over here? And Strange is just like, fine. So he ends up bringing Ned and MJ, and I love Ned in this scene. He's just like, yo, man, Sanctum Sanctorum. This is cool, man. It's I love Ned so much in these movies. We don't deserve Ned, guys.
We don't. He's our Lord and Savior.
Oh my God. Yeah, praise Jacob Batalon and the Gospel of Ned. Just the second coming. Oh my God. I love this. Oh God, this movie's so great. I can't even describe it.
I know, I can't describe it.
So they got Kirk Connors back, and he's just like, yeah, I already got him. And he just like points to him just like crawling around in his cell. It's like, oh god. And I love how it's like, I saw this other guy. He looks like it's like a green elf. And then Octavius is all like, is Osborn. He's all like, what? It's like Norman Osborn. That's who that guy was on the glider. He's like, you know him? Yeah, I do. And he explains basically what happened with him in the first Spider-Man movie. And then he says, but he's dead. He's dead where I come from. Which is, I love how they end up building up to the fact that all of these villains basically died in their respective universes. And the main conflict of the movie, it becomes, is this Peter's trying to save them. Which I think is just perfect. I mean, it's, like, that's Spider-Man right there.
Yeah, even in different universes, like, Spidey being a genuine person that we know him to be, wants to save these people and change their fate. He
doesn't want them to die, but that's for later. But, you know, a nice little setup there. And I also love this scene where he's all like, do you think I could be magic? I feel tingling in my fingers. He's all like, you might want to go to your doctor. And then he, like, walks up, and which, by the way, brilliant foreshadowing, but again, we'll get to that later. He walks up the steps, or he says his grandma thinks there's magic in the family. So he walks up the steps, he's like, look, I need you guys to capture all these other villains, okay? So, Scooby-Doo this shit! And then MJ fucking just baller line, she's all like, I know a couple of magical words too, like, please. And then he's all like, fine, please, Scooby-Doo this shit. And she's like, that's better. So they're like, alright, so how are we gonna capture all these guys? So, also, we wonder where Norman's at, because, we know just how dangerous Norman Osborn is. I mean, he's Spider-Man's greatest villain. I mean, that dude's probably the most dangerous out of all the Spidey villains.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
Oh, man. So, Peter ends up swinging around. Oh, yeah, Doctor Strange made him a new suit. Forgot to mention that. He just, like, hey, here's the... I was like, hey, man, you like that Iron Spider suit. I'll make it better. It's going to be like a magic suit. And it spins like magic webs. It's really dope.
It is.
I really like that suit. What did you think of the suit?
Oh, yeah. I really like it. Even though it's basically just a black and red suit inside out, I still think it looks cool.
Oh, yeah. And he's just, like, swinging around. He's like, I can't find these other two guys. And then we see, as the phone starts messing up, and like, Peter, we can't see anything, and oh man, we start seeing the electricity in the background. I love this scene. This is another scene I'm just like, ugh.
Oh boy. Oh yeah. Man. My God. I love it.
He's like, I can't hear you. It's like, what is that? And then, like, you can see the electricity, and you also see sand in the background, and, oh yeah, there's a great little sand thing. I'm like, oh shit, that's Sandman. And it's like, oh my God. It's just, I love this. We don't deserve this movie!
Don't!
We're so spoiled, us Spidey fans. We've said that before, but this movie just proves it. Like, we don't deserve this.
We don't.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, we see Max Dillon once again, and he looks way better than last time. Thank God Almighty, he looks way better than he did last time.
Yeah, he's not blue. Thank God.
He's not blue. He's not this weird, dweeby guy with a buck-tooth teeth and a come-over, okay? He's just regular Jamie Foxx.
Yep, and he's badass.
And oh yeah, he's great in this, but again, we'll get to that. I do have some issues with Electro, but he is way better in this than in that abomination that we will not name here. What was that? You sound like a rumbling toad. You're just like... was that? Oh my god. Okay, so we also see Sandman, which is, here's just a little thing. Sandman is in this movie, and he's just like a sand man.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, literally. He's just like, it's just like Thomas Haden Church, just sandy.
Yeah.
He's not regular Thomas Haden Church at all in this. It's like, what?
No.
This is such a nitpick too, but it's like, what? You can't you just turn back into regular Thomas Haden Church? Like, what is this?
Maybe he didn't want to come on set because of the pandemic or something.
Probably. That's the only logical explanation I can come up with, at least.
Yeah, he's like, I can only do voiceover, so
I'm like, I can do voiceover if you can do some like,
man.
Yeah, and they're all like, fine. So that's what he did, and I love Sandman in this movie. Right, back on the thing with Spider-Man 3, like, he's just a guy who wants to get back to his daughter. Didn't know he died, by the way, but I guess he did, so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's kind of unexplained. There are a couple of flaws in this movie, but which we'll get into.
Oh, another little detail that I noticed, I even told Carlton, and he was like, I didn't notice that. Right when Electro starts attacking, you hear his theme in the background.
Oh, awesome. I didn't even catch that, really?
Oh, yeah, when he starts attacking Spider-Man, you hear his theme.
Oh, shit.
For the second movie.
I never even knew that. Intriguing. Anyway, so we get this epic battle. We see Sandman trying to help Spider-Man because, he thinks it's Tobey Spider-Man who, forgave him a couple of minutes ago and let him fly off in the sunset.
Yeah.
But it turns out he's not, and he's all like, whoa, I don't want to hurt you or anything. And he all turns back into regular Jamie Foxx, thank God. He's just like, and this is a great joke too. He's all like, man, I'm me, it's so good.
I love it.
And Sandman's all like, it's like, do you know this guy? And Sandman's like, I don't know who he is. He's all like, hey, don't be weird. Don't pretend like I'm not butt-ass naked. It's like he's naked and the whole thing. And then Peter's all like, I think I can help you with that. He's like, I think I can help you with that. See some, like, fire stuff. Oh, yeah, he accidentally sends in a tree. Which then, he's just like, did you just capture a guy who's like a tree guy? And he's all like, no! It was an accident! And he's like, they're fighting each other. And, oh god, another great battle scene between Sandman, who's kind of like helping Spider-Man out, and then Electro. Played much better by Jamie Foxx, and he just brings that just sinister energy while also being like sympathetic,
Oh yeah, and also really hilarious.
He's hilarious in this too. Oh,
he brought a lot of laughs out of me. I love him.
Oh man, and it's just like, it's so good. I love this fight scene though. It's Electro kind of like thinking it's Andrew Spider-Man, but Peter successfully ends up capturing them, and that ends up being like a thing, and they end up capturing them, and it's like, hey, where am I? And Sandman's like, I don't know, I just want to get back to my daughter. So, as this is going on, we end up seeing Norman Osborn back in action, baby. Willem Dafoe, our first appearance from our boy, Willem Dafoe, as Green Goblin. And he just carries it off without a hitch. I love him in this movie.
He's really fucking good in this.
Oh my god. Like, hell, it might even be better than the first Spider-Man movie. And that might be blasphemy for a lot of people. But he is amazing in this. Like, just the way he can be sympathetic at one moment, and then he's like, just fucking monster the next moment, is brilliant in this. Just again shows you why Willem Dafoe is one of the greatest actors of his age. Still living.
Most definitely. Like, him switching from Norman to Green Goblin, seeing him contorting his face.
Oh my god. And we see him just kind of... one of the things did they de-age him as well? It kind of looked like it for a second, but I wasn't really sure, because Willem Dafoe, he's not really aged. He's aged, but it's not like he's aged. You know, it's weird.
No, I don't think they de-aged him. Willem Dafoe's always looked the same.
Yeah, I mean, he just kind of looks a little older as the years go on. He looks like himself, and he just freaking nails it. And the Peter, and he just like gets some rags, and the Goblin's all like, "You're too weak to do what needs to be done," and it's so good. Oh my god, and he's all like, "No!" and he just like he ends up breaking the mask, and he runs off, and he gets like some scraps together, and he like runs off which here's a thing I do question. So is he Norman again in this scene, or is it like the Goblin pretending to be him? Because it's never really explained. I think I know what it is, but I'm not entirely sure.
I think he's entirely Norman for a bit.
And then it's like the Goblin comes back?
Yeah, he just comes out of nowhere. But he's fully Norman.
Oh my god, and he is so sympathetic in this scene. You feel so bad for him. I remember when it like comes later, but we'll get to that. But it's like he's so sympathetic in this scene. Like, you feel so bad for him. He goes to the feast building, and May ends up meeting him, and she like takes pity on him, and she like, you know, feeds him some like I don't know I forget what she feeds him, but it's beautiful, man.
It really is.
He's almost like a lost child. It's just, it's so good.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. He is like a lost child.
And, you know, he's just like, it's really sad because he's all like, my son, you know, I don't know where my son's at. I got things, you know, yada yada. But so May ends up calling Peter on the phone, and is like, "Hey, this guy came in, he's in like a green outfit," and he's like, "Oh fuck." So he like runs over there, and it's like this really intense scene, and then he like shows up, and then like there they are, and he's just like eating like beans or something, like, I don't remember. But that's a great scene too. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just... It's like... May... Like, I gotta give it to it. Marisa Tomei in this movie is probably, like, one of the MVPs here. Like, she is amazing in this.
Oh, yeah. She's got a lot to do with this. And Marisa Tomei, she's awesome in this.
Oh, my God. Like, she's phenomenal in this. And, you know, she's compassionate. She's funny. You know, she feels a lot like Peter's mom. She's not just like this old lady who's like worrying all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is so nice.
Everyone has brought their A game here.
Oh my god, yes. And the Goblin's just like, and then Peter walks in, and then he just sees this guy, and he's all like, oh, hello. And she's all like, this is my nephew Peter. He's like, oh. And he kind of looks at him. He's like, huh. Does he mention about his Peter Parker?
Oh, yeah. His Peter Parker, and of course, his son.
Yeah, he mentions his Peter and his son, which is really sad. Makes you think back to the original 3 movies.
Yeah.
So, Peter ends up... So, May's like, I gotta send this guy back, and she's all like, but you're gonna help him, right? And she gives him, like, this speech about, you know... Or not speech, that's later, but she does tell him, like, you gotta help him, that's what we do. He's all like, yeah. So... Peter takes no... I love how Norman is in this movie. Like, for, like, a couple of minutes, he's just like... I love him. He's just like that goofy... I don't know how to describe it. What do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, he's just like that confused little kid, as you said, but also, like, delivering just being Willem Dafoe.
Oh, my God. Like, he freaking nailed it in this film, man. Oh, my God.
I know. Man, he just chewed the scenery.
Oh, my Lord. He's so good. It wasn't just like a one-off where he's like, God made Spider-Man. He just, like, freaking blows up. It's beautiful.
It is.
I love it. So he ends up retrieving him, and Doctor Strange ends up, like, zapping him into the cell, and he's all like, Peter! Peter! You feel so bad for him. He's like, oh, I know what he is, but I feel bad for this guy.
We do. We feel so bad for him.
Oh my god, he's just, it's so sad. You're just like, man, come on. But anyway, so they end up talking a little bit, and there's just so much greatness in this scene. And he's all like, hey, I remember him, or maybe this was earlier, but he's like, but Dylan sees Connors, he's like, yo, I remember him, tried turning people into lizards, and he's all like, well, I was trying to do it from Revolution, but he's like, yeah, but that was weird. I love that! It's like the people who made this movie just didn't like the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and we're just like, we're gonna make this better. And they just did it. I love how they make fun of the Amazing Spider-Man movies in this movie, and he's all like, I remember you when you had your come over, and your gap teeth. It's so good.
They finally acknowledged that the lizard dumbass plan and Max Dillon's dumbass appearance of the buck tooth and the stupid comb over.
Oh my god.
Thank you.
Oh, it's beautiful. I don't know, but it's like, this movie is the best Spider-Man thing ever. It's one of them. It is one of them. Man.
This movie's good.
Oh my god, it's so... Oh my god. And it's like, they're just like poking fun at each other, and he's like, and like Octavius sees Norman again, he's all like, Norman? He's all like, and then as they talk about it, they end up realizing, like, he's like, Sandman's all like, wait, both of you are dead, because I saw it in the news. And they all end up realizing that they end up discussing it, and they all end up realizing that they all were pulled from the universes just as they were about to die. And Strange is pretty hell-bent on sending him back, because he wants to, like, clean this up. Now, as MJ said earlier. Now, one of the things, this is like a little headcanon thing, but indulge me a little bit. The Harry Potter movies, there's the 4 houses, and people are like, well, Slytherin aren't all that bad. Doctor Strange would be a Slytherin. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I read about it, and he's like, because he makes, like, decisions that people might not think are right at that point, but, it's for the greater good overall.
Yeah.
I thought about it. I'm like, bro, that's brilliant.
Yeah, it makes so much sense now.
And this is just like a fan thing, like, if this were yada yada. But yeah, I'm like, man, that's right. Like, it's right. Like, I'm not gonna argue with that, man.
Oh, me either.
But they end up realizing that they're just about to get pulled before they die. And I love Alfred Molina in this, because he's just chewing it up. He's just making those, like, classic villain vibes, because he's all like, he's acting it out, and he's like, I had Spider-Man in my hands, and then I don't remember. Like, it's beautiful.
Man, all the original villains, they're just chewing the scenery.
Oh my god, yes. And then Flint Marko's like, wait, they're both dead, because I read it in the news. And it's just like, so Strange is about to prepare a spell, but Peter says that, but Peter doesn't like this. He's like, we should at least try to give him a chance. And Doctor Strange is like, look, they all died. This is what's supposed to happen. I'm sorry, I can't help it, but that's just what's going to happen. And he says, I'm sorry, kid. And then Peter says, can't we just, like, try and cure them first? Can't we just try and help them? And he's like, no, it's like, what happened to them, it can't be helped. Like, we have to send them back, I'm sorry. And then Peter says, I'm sorry too. And then they just zap, and he's like, don't, and just like zaps it away from him. Which comes to my favorite fight of this whole movie. One of them anyways. All the fights in this are awesome. But this fight is so creative. It is so well done. Like, this might be one of the best Spider-Man fights of all time.
Absolutely.
And Peter takes the box. He ends up trying to get away from Doctor Strange, but he ends up, like, teleporting him back in a loop. But Peter ends up, like, taking it back. He ends up finding a way out of it. And then Doctor Strange, like, pulls him out, and he punches his soul out of his body.
Oh, yeah. Now he's in astral form.
And then he's all like, yo, what's this? And I love, then he's all like, wait a minute. And then this little detail that I noticed is, like, that later, but it was, like, there's, like, little squiggly lines indicating his spider sense.
I noticed that the second time I saw it, I was like, yeah, there's his spider sense right there when he's in astral form. Nice detail.
Yeah, and then he, like, swims back to his body, and then they end up getting pulled in the mirror universe. The mirror universe fights! Oh, my God. Jacob, do you want to take this?
Oh, my God. This is without a doubt one of the best action scenes I have ever seen in a Spider-Man movie and in the MCU. First off, Jon Watts, you outdid yourself here, buddy. Amazing job. The effects, just Spidey trying to, like, get away from Doctor Strange, but Strange trying to get the box for him. It is absolutely crowd pleasing. Like, I remember the audience were just like an ooh, ah, and just like clapping it out. Man, this scene is so awesome. And then Spidey tries to talk to Doctor Strange, but Doctor Strange is like, don't you understand? There are an infinite amount of people who know Peter Parker's Spider-Man. If that spell gets loose, they're all coming here. But then Peter's just like, we can't just send him home to die. And Doctor Strange walked in, and he's like, it's their fate. You can't change that. Then Peter's like, what? We could change their fate. Then Doctor Strange's like, fuck this. I'm going to take that box from you. Man.
I love, and the fun thing about it, they're not wrong. Both of them aren't wrong in what they want to do.
No, they're both right.
Like, Doctor Strange is all like, well, we should just send them back and, not worry about it anymore. They what happened to them is what happened to them. And, we got what we have now. But Peter's all like, no, we can help them. We can save them. We have to try. And it reminds me of the scene from Daredevil, where, Daredevil and Punisher are arguing it out on killing people. And, I love the line from Charlie Cox's Daredevil, or Charlie Cox when he says, from Matt when he says, well, they have to try, Frank. They have to try, at least. And it's kind of like that scene, except with superpowers.
It is like that scene.
Though this scene is awesome. I love it. I love the battle, not just physically, but also ideologically. There's a big word for you, Jacob.
Yeah.
And the thing is that they're both not wrong in what they want to do, so it kind of makes it muddled, No,
you understand both sides of both sides.
Exactly. And it's not like Doctor Strange is a villain, just like being an asshole. He's like, I think this is the best thing for the greater good of everybody. Because if we bring all those people here, it is going to unleash a literal apocalypse on everybody.
Yeah, and also, the mirror dimension breaks, and they're in the Grand Canyon. And then Spidey has this idea, because we all know Spidey is also super smart. He's like, this is a community spiral. And he's like, you're great at geometry. This is basically geometry. And he finds a way to tangle up Doctor Strange and take the box from him. And it's also his little ring thing. Then Spidey beats Doctor Strange, and it's awesome.
Oh my God, they just were on their A game for this movie. This movie is just, Man,
they brought their A game in this,
Oh
man.
my God. We don't deserve this film. It is so good.
God, it's so good.
Oh my God.
Man, I'm so happy.
Oh my Lord. It's so good. Like, I don't know what we did in our lives to deserve this movie, but thank you for the rest of humanity.
Yeah, I'm forever happy.
Oh my God. It's so... Excuse me. But I love this fight. It is as great... It might even be as great as the train fight from Spider-Man 2, which is still one of my favorite superhero fights ever. Aside from the the action scene in the middle of Dark Knight, which is also awesome, which is my favorite superhero action scene ever. And the fights between Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and Shang-Chi movie, the whole action scene in that movie. God, this movie's awesome. My point. This action is great. I love this fight scene.
Man, this fight scene is so fucking awesome. And this is just my little fanboy moment, but Spidey defeating the most powerful sorcerer ever, Doctor Strange. Hell yeah.
Using math.
Yeah, using his head. Go, Spidey.
Oh my god, yes. I was like, oh, yes. Even though I was kind of like, yeah, I understand where Strange is coming from, it was pretty satisfying seeing Peter, come out on top. Because, Doctor Strange is kind of treating him like this idiot kid, and then he's all like, fuck you, and he, takes his stuff from him. I love it.
When Spidey, takes his ring thing out of his fingers, Doctor Strange just ow.
He's like, sorry, man. And he just, goes back. And he, throws the ring at Ned. He's like, here, just take it. Let's get these villains out of here. And he's like, May, I need your help with something. And so they end up... So he calls May, and they end up taking the villains. So he says, well, I don't want to send you guys back to die, so we're going to try and help you guys. What do you guys think? Earlier Willem Dafoe was just like, I'm something of a scientist myself, which, is a callback to the first movie.
Oh, yeah. That was definitely a meme scene, but I don't care. I laughed at that. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say, that was probably the only scene where the fan service felt a little off, but I don't fucking care. It was great.
Yeah, it's Willem Dafoe, so...
It's Willem Dafoe, man, and I love how he delivers that line, though. He's just like, yeah, I know.
It's so good.
Oh my god, he's just like, Willem Dafoe's having a blast, you can just tell, with this movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can tell that he's just, having fun with this.
Oh my god, and it's not dumb in any way. It's, really good. And it's fun. It's fun for him, and it's fun for us, too. It's like, oh god, I don't know. So anyways, he takes him to Happy's apartment. And they're, hanging out there, and there's some good gags, Electro accidentally, zapping some stuff. Sandman, my favorite, Sandman just leaving sand all over the couch. He's like, sorry. He's, wiping it off. And even more sand's getting on it. It's like, this movie is just it's so delightful. I love this film.
Man, this movie's so good. I'm happy right now.
Oh my god, it's so good. So Peter ends up tracking, and Octavius is all like, I don't want this boy touching me or anything. And I love how cantankerous he is in this movie. He's like, no! He's just like, he's not having any of it. I'm like, didn't you, redeem yourself before you came here? What happened to that, Octavius? I thought you figured it out with your arms. I guess not. Or, well, it's probably because he's trapped with those voices and it's just driving him insane. And, you end up going to Happy's apartment, and they end up trying to make cures for the villains. And this is another just great scene where he starts making all the cures for everybody. And, J. Jonah Jameson is in this, and he gets, a more pronounced role in this. And JK Simmons, man, he nails it yet again. It's like he didn't even lose a step. He's just like, I'm coming back, I'm just gonna do this, and he's phenomenal.
I can't even say anything because he's just too good. He's perfect.
Oh my god, he is!
What else can I say? I've already said enough about him. He's perfect.
Oh my god, he's so good. And he gets some guy to try and stalk Spider-Man. He's like an Alex Jones type of guy in this universe. It's perfect. I can totally see J. Jonah Jameson doing that in like a more modern setting of Spider-Man, just becoming like this Alex Jones figure.
Mm-hmm.
I love him in this movie. There's so much greatness, but he's great in this movie. And he ends up like stalking Spider-Man back to Happy's house to see what he's up to.
Yeah, oh man, classic JJJ.
Oh my god, he's great. And Peter is like trying to figure out how to help him, and him and Norman actually start making cures for everybody, and it's actually kind of nice seeing Norman and this Peter getting along. And you know, it's kind of touching, actually. And then we get probably my favorite part of the scene, where he ends up making a new chip for, you know, Doc Ock, because his old one got destroyed out of some Stark stuff. Some, you know, Stark Inc. technology. And he ends up, you know, it knocks him out for a second, and then he's Otto Octavius again. It is so beautiful. Oh my god, like that made me feel something. Like
me too, man. I was like, yeah, he's back.
It's like it's not like a F yeah moment, but it's like, oh my god, this is so beautiful. It's like when
satisfying.
Sandman becomes Sandman in Spider-Man 3. It's like that. It's just like this really touching moment where he finally, and you can just see the joy and gratitude on his face. Alfred Molina is so good in this.
He really is.
It's not even fair.
Man, this is so good, man. And he's like, it's so quiet. I'm like, heck yeah. He's in full control now.
He's like, okay, good. He's not Doc Ock anymore, because there is that kind of tension there where he's like, it's like, is he about to like attack everybody? But nope, he's Otto Octavius again. He's back to who he was before he became Dr. Octopus. You know, he's really nice, and he's going to help everybody out.
Mm-hmm.
Everything seems to be going well. So it's like, oh, yes. Everything's going great. And it's just like, oh, man, everything's fine. And then suddenly, Peter ends up getting, like, this ring, which I'm guessing is his spider sense.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh my god, this scene is so I love how the scene turns from, like, really fun and joyful to, like, really intense in, like, 5 minutes.
I love it, man. We're getting, like, from, like, okay, this is funny, and then we're, like, getting to the full suspense moment.
Oh yeah, and Peter is, like, it's almost like he's hearing ringing, and he's looking around, and he's like, oh dear, what... He's like, oh dear, what is this? And he's like looking around, and you know everyone seems to be doing fine. And then he looks at Norman, and he like zaps his hand to the webbing and whatever. And shit, the Goblin persona's back, and oh my god, it is so good. Oh my god, Willem Dafoe in this. He just turns from Norman Osborn to Goblin like that, and he's just great. Like,
man, this is awesome.
Oh my god, and he turns like this villain dialogue that could be like super hokey into like really, it's like super intense.
And scary as fuck.
Oh my god, he just like contorts his face, and he starts like being all like, you really think he's gonna try and help us? And it's just like, oh my god, like who thought, oh man, oh my god.
That had my heart pumping.
Oh man, you're like, oh shit. So, Connors ends up hearing a car coming, and he's like, ah shit. So he like breaks out and starts like attacking everybody. And Electro's like, what's going on down there? And Goblin ends up taking over and basically convinces all the villains to betray Parker, and he says, well, with gods, we don't have to choose to get rid of it. And Dylan's like, yeah. Which that's a little thing I have. Dylan's kind of weird in this. He's friendly in one part, and then he's all like, I'm gonna be evil. But it's kind of weird. I don't know. What do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, it's really weird. You go from being like oh yeah, I'm a scientist, and you're going from being full-on supervillain persona.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, and then they all, like, break out and all havoc, and it's just like, and I love how Octavius is like, oh no, don't, and then it's just like, and then, like, Norman just breaks out and just unleashes havoc on everybody, and, oh my god, this scene is amazing, too, like, just a great fight, like, it's a brutal fight, just another straight out of a Raimi movie. Tom Holland, Spidey, gets his ass handed to him in this. Like,
I was like, yes, this is what I've wanted to see out of Tom Spidey.
He wanted to see a teenager get beaten up.
Yeah, I wanted this movie to break Peter. Don't judge me, Britton. I wanted this.
Hey, no judgment here. No judgment here. I'm not judging you. I just thought it was funny.
Tom Holland, he was right when he said this movie's dark and brutal, and man, this movie is brutal, and this fight scene between Spidey and Goblin, fucking intense, scary, and just brutal once again.
Oh my god, it harkens back to the first Spider-Man movie. Like, Goblin just kicks his ass all over the place, and it's brutal. And Peter's, like, giving everything he's got to try and fight off these villains. He's, like, beating the shit out of, he's, like, giving everything he's got at Norman. It's just, oh my god. And, like, and Happy's calling, he's driving over, he's like, hey, I saw on my thing, on my camera, that you brought some guys in. Like, what is that? Anyways, I'll call you when I get back home. That's also funny. But aside from that, like, this is great, because it's just, like, again, back to the Raimi movies. You feel every punch in this scene. It's like they took notes from the Raimi movies, and Watts is just like, yes, like that. We're gonna make it like that. And everyone's like, okay, cool. Oh my god. He just whoops Spider-Man's ass, like, all over the place.
Man, yeah, oh god. And Spidey's, like, giving all of his effort into, like, just defeating the Goblin, and Willem Dafoe acting his ass off, just laughing uncontrollably. It's so fucking awesome.
Oh,
this is what I've wanted to see.
And, again, I mean, this is probably a point, well, actually, that's probably a point for later. But anyways, so Octavius is sad that everyone's evil again, and he just, like, leaps off from he gets knocked off from the thing by Electro, and he ends up, like, crawling away. And Electro, like, zaps some people and runs off, and then, like, Connors attacks some guys and runs away, and it's, like, kind of thing. But it's Osborn Norman and Peter duke it out, and again, it is brutal. Like, this is not, like, your typical MCU fight. Like, it is just, like, jeez.
The action in this, it broke free from the Marvel type of action that we come to expect. No, these action scenes are brutal and intense, as I said.
Oh my god, like, Peter, again, just gets his ass handed to him. And
every chance he has.
And he's giving all he's got at the Goblin, and he's just laughing it off, and he's just mocking Peter the whole time, and he's all like, it's like, Peter, you'll get everything you want. Or what is it that he says?
Oh yeah, Peter, you're struggling to have everything you want, while the world tries to make you choose. So beautiful.
Oh my god! Willem Dafoe, man. He's just, oh my god. He's like, his creepy smile, too. It's just like, oh my lord. I hope some, like, 4-year-olds weren't in there. That probably would have terrified them. But that was probably the point. But, and
Carlton texted me, it's like, those Goblin and Spidey fight scenes were fucking scary. That had me shit in my pants. It's like, I know, man.
That's about right. There's Carlton for you. Oh my god. Oh man. But god, Pete, and it's again, the Goblin is just railing on him, and then they get to the bottom floor, and all the cops show up, and it's just like this really intense scene. It's like, and then Happy shows up. He's like, ah, shit. And then May is like trying to help out as best she can, and so then he ends up calling he calls his glider somehow, which again makes me question, So was it the Goblin pretending to be Norman, or did he just, like, randomly take over Norman's, like, he took over?
That hasn't been answered. I honestly do not know. I'm thinking Norman might have been fully back, and then Goblin just kicked in whenever he wanted to.
Maybe. I guess
Maybe.
so. We don't know. I don't know. But, oh my lord. And then he like, gets the, like, Goblin, and then he, like, gets his, like, glider, and it's, like, and then Aunt May, and he, like, runs over to Peter, and then, like, Aunt May jumps in the way, and she just gets nailed by the glider. And you're just like, holy crap, like, oh no!
Oh my, ooh. Talk about, like, man, this movie just goes from 0 to 100 with its intensity.
Oh my god, yes. And that's what's perfect about this. And Osborn just, like, nails her, and he's like, see you later, Peter. And he throws, like, one of his classic goblin bombs, and Peter's like, shit! And he, like, throws over and it blows up. And just everything's just, like, blown up, and it's just like, oh my god, it's... Ugh. But then the scene goes from, like, really intense to, oh boy, they lay on the emotional. They lay on the emotions, man. May just gets up, and at first I'm like, how the hell did she live? Like,
or even to get up.
How'd you get up? Yeah, it's just like, she just got nailed. Like, that could have paralyzed her, at least. It's like, I thought there were swords, man, and then she's all like, oh, hey, Peter. And she ends up, like, getting up, and she's all like, oh, yeah, May, are you okay? And she's like, oh, I'm fine, I think. And then she, like, gives this speech, and he's all like, it's all my fault. I thought I could help them. Strange was right. And she's all like, man. And she's all like, no, Peter, it's okay. You tried to help them, because that's who you are. And you know, with great power, there must also come great responsibility. And it's just like, oh, yes.
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh my god, yes.
And also, them referencing Uncle Ben without just saying out loud Uncle Ben after she gives the great power comes great responsibility line, Peter's like, I know.
And it's just...
It's like a hint to Uncle Ben.
Yeah, hint to Uncle Ben. It's beautiful. And then May checks, and, well, yeah, he ended up injuring her fatally, and she ends up dying, and this is just like... This is like it's like when Yondu died in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I did not expect to get as sad for the scene as I did, but this scene is heart-wrenching.
Man, like I've heard a couple people in my theater like sobbing. I cried, honestly. I cried. No joke. Man, that scene it was really heart-wrenching. And Tom Holland, man.
Oh my god.
He's fucking phenomenal.
Oh my god, he nailed it. He nailed those emotions. And
he's fucking good.
Oh my god. And all the cops are there, and he's all like, hey, May, it's like, you could stay with me, it's okay. And then she ends up dying. It is so sad, and I was not expecting to get as sad. I'm like, oh, you know, Aunt May's really fun, and she's really supportive of Peter, and I really like her. I was not expecting to get as sad as I was when she ended up dying. Like, it is heart-wrenching.
Yeah, that was the most unexpected thing I wouldn't have expected that. Man, they really did it. Man, that was so heart-wrenching. It really got to me. Once again, Tom Holland just acting his ass off in this scene.
Yeah, and I mean, that also brings to the point I was going to make earlier, is that the Goblin this is why I think the Goblin will always be Spider-Man's greatest enemy, because he is the one who hurts Peter in a way that no one else could even dream of doing. It's like, you know, even Amazing Spider-Man movies, as bad as those movies were, understood this. Like, you know, and it also just nails the point home that being Spider-Man can mean pain. And it also shows that being Spider-Man is defined by loss. It's so beautiful.
I love it. Yeah, Green Goblin will always be the greatest Spider-Man villain. In this movie, he mind fucks Peter.
Oh my god, yeah, and he just killed Aunt May. And it's really heart-wrenching, but again, it just shows why the Goblin is his greatest enemy, no matter what universe he's in. He's the only person who could hurt Peter in such like a personal way like that. It's like he's his Joker, man.
He really is. He's basically the Joker of the Spider-Man villains. It's awesome.
Yeah, basically, which is funny because they did want Willem Dafoe to play the Joker, which I think he'd be amazing at, by the way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Have you seen the video where he's all in the Joker makeup, or maybe it was like I think he actually got into makeup and he's the Joker. Oh my god, it's good.
I saw that and I was like, yes, Hollywood, one day, hopefully one day, bring Willem Dafoe as the Joker. Maybe.
I mean, he's probably aged out of the role, but hey, in this movie, he's just fucking kicking ass. So, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, but let's not doubt Willem Dafoe.
But let's not doubt Willem Dafoe. He's amazing. This is like the audition tape to be the Joker. No, but yeah, that's why he is. This scene shows two things: why Spider-Man is so powerful and why he still works, and why the Green Goblin is Peter's greatest enemy. It's a beautiful scene. What do you think, Jacob?
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. Then Happy comes in, and then just facial acting alone, Happy knows just like Aunt May's dead. You can tell he's just like crushed inside. Man, and I just love it.
Jon Favreau, I know he gets some flack. Well, I don't know who he gets flack by. He's actually pretty well liked. But, I know a lot of people might underestimate Jon Favreau because, he made Swingers and he's kind of that funny guy in Iron Man. But he's actually a pretty good actor, he's good. He's very good. Especially in, this scene right here.
He's very good in this. Jon Favreau, I love the guy. And he's great in this.
He was also in the Clone Wars, which I never even realized. He was the Death Watch leader before Maul took over. Yeah, I didn't know that. And I'm like, that voice sounds familiar. I looked it up. Oh, it's Jon Favreau. That's why. But anyways. But yeah, and then Peter's gone, and it's so sad. And you also see J. Jonah Jameson actually being, sympathetic for once in his J. Jonah Jameson way, anyways. He's all like, this tragic thing happened, and he doesn't even blame Spider-Man all that much. He kind of blames him a little bit because it's kind of his thing, but he does offer some kind of sympathetic words. It is J.J. Jameson way of being sympathetic.
Oh yeah, I must say that scene where Spidey is on top of a building and you see Jameson on a billboard with rain. Beautiful shot, by the way.
Oh my god, it just nailed. It's like, oh yeah, you want Peter to feel worse. Just there you go.
Man.
Oh man, it's beautiful. I just the way Tom Holland conveys just that new grief. It's beautiful.
Oh yes, and this is where we finally see him as Spider-Man, him losing something and realizing the consequences to it. It's beautiful.
Oh my god, yeah. It shows why Spider-Man still works, Anyway. Yeah. So, Peter is just a wreck after what happens to Aunt May, and we end up seeing Ned and MJ hanging out at his grandma's house. Hanging out at Ned's grandma's house, and they're just kind of hanging out, and of course everyone's sad over what happened to Aunt May, and he's like, "Have you gotten a hold of Peter?" And he's like, "No." And Ned is just kind of like, "Damn, what are we gonna do? We need to find him somewhere." And oh man, I don't know how I'm gonna talk about this scene.
Me either.
Oh god. Oh man. Okay, so. So it's this really somber scene, and MJ and Ned decide to figure out how to. They decide to try and find Peter. So, he's like, man, I just wish we could find Peter, and you could just see the flicker, and then Ned's like, and then me and Jay's like, dude, do it again, and Ned's all like, yo, I just wish Peter Parker. He's like, dude, do a thing with your finger, Peter Parker, and he ends up swinging his finger around, and this portal opens, and you see this dank alleyway, and you see Spider-Man. You think it's Peter, and oh man, I'm smiling already.
Me too.
Oh my god! So, oh man. So, the circle, and then it's like, and they think it's Peter, and they start yelling, Peter, Peter, and he's all like, yo, and he runs over, and he runs in, but it's not Tom Holland Spider-Man. And I loved it. I love this scene so much. This is probably my favorite introduction, but here, just let me have this moment. So, I love how the grandma's freaked out. She's like, ah! She's like throwing a pillow. He's like, hey, no, I'm a good guy. I'm a nice guy. It's okay. No, don't be scared. He takes off the mask, and it's Andrew M. effing Garfield, and my theater went nuts. I was like, oh my god, they did it. Yes. Oh, and he's just like, he takes it off, and he's just like, okay, I'm Peter Parker. I'm Spider-Man. Where I come from. It is... Oh, I'm shaking right now. I'm shaking.
I'm containing my excitement. My theater the fuck out.
My theater roared, including me. I was just like, oh my god, they did it! And my dad's just like, who's that? He's like, it's the Spider-Man from the... This is so...
Yeah, Andrew Garfield, he's back!
Andrew Garfield is back, and he just... Oh my god. It's just, this is actually my favorite one of the, introductions of, like, everybody in this movie. That's my favorite one. Because I love just the grandma all freaked out. She's like, yeah! She's like, throwing the thing. He's like, it's okay, I'm in the... Just classic Peter Parker right there, where he's just like, oh, no, it's okay. It's alright. I'm a good guy. He just takes it off. And it's Andrew Garfield. I'm like, oh my god, they did it. Oh my god. They did it, man.
I cannot believe it. They did it.
Oh god, I can't either, man. Oh my god. Okay, so she's and I love Zendaya's acting. It's insane. She just nails just the comedy of the scene where she's like, what? Who are you? You're not Peter Parker. He's like, look, I'm Peter Parker from another world. Okay, and she's all like, prove it. And he just like pops his hand on the ceiling, and he like hangs on to it, and she's all like, that doesn't prove anything, and she like throws like some what is it, she throws some bread at him, and he's all like, look, he's all like, please stop throwing bread at me, it's not gonna help. And he's like, oh yeah, crawl on the wall. He's like, I don't have to, this is proof enough. And he's like, oh my god, it's wonderful.
I love this.
Oh my lord. He's just like, he's like hanging on the wall, and he's like, and then the grandma starts like talking in Spanish, and then Ned's like, she wants help with the cobweb. He's like, oh yeah, cool. And he like crawls over, and you can tell he's having a blast with this. And he just like gets rid of the cobweb, and he's all like, gets rid of it, and he's all like, okay, now do you know I'm Spider-Man? And they're like, okay. He's definitely Peter Parker Spider-Man. And he's all like, oh, well, okay, you're not our Peter, no offense. He's like, that's fine. And then, I'm smiling again, dude. And he's all like, okay, let's try it again. So like, okay, let's try it again. So then, I'm containing my excitement here.
I want this moment.
Oh, you want this moment?
Yeah.
All right, you do it, man. You do it. I'm giving, you got the stage, buddy.
All right. Oh boy. Okay. Ned opens another portal, and the OG Tobey freaking Maguire is back as Spider-Man. And let me tell you, man, I have never screamed that loud in a theater since Endgame. Like, I lost my voice. I was cheering in happiness.
Oh man, my theater went nuts. I'm like. And his entrance as well is just perfect. It's like he didn't even leave the role. He's perfect. He's just pitch perfect again. just, oh my god, he's just classic Peter. He's like, oh, hello. It's just, oh my god, it's so good. And he's all in like sweats, and it's like, oh, it's so good.
Man, Tobey it's like he never left as Peter. He's just like, yeah, I'm Peter Parker. I just came through this portal.
Oh, and he's all like, oh, it just closed. Okay. It's so good! Like, what? Oh, I'm about to cry.
Me too. I did cry in the theater.
Oh my gosh. Oh, my lord. I'm like, I was actually starting to be skeptical if they were actually going to do it. I'm like, man, they're not going to do it. They ain't going to do it.
Yeah, they're
not going to be that crazy.
It's not impossible. How could it be How could it be possible?
It's like,
they actually did it.
Like, I was hoping they'd be in this, but I was like, they won't. Like, that's just wishful thinking. They're not going to do it. Let me tell you, everybody, they did it. And it was just like, my theater went wild. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Man, and Andrew, he freaking lied. He freaking lied to us.
Yes, he did.
Even my friend was like, Andrew lied. I was like, yeah, he freaking lied. You're back in this movie, and it's awesome.
I think he was just doing it to keep the surprise, which it worked.
He was like, yeah, I'm not in the movie. Shut up, people. I'm not in the movie. End of story. Well, you know what? Yeah, I'm in the movie now.
Oh my god. Oliver recently is like, oh, yep, I'm in the movie now. Yeah. and it's just, oh my god. And Tobey's back, and I couldn't even believe it. It was like I just saw like this dude I thought who died, and he just like came back to life. It was like that. And I'm like, they did it. They did it. All three of the Spider-Men are in this movie. I still can't believe it. It's been like almost 9 days since I saw this movie, and I still can't believe they actually did it. Like, unbelievable.
I cannot believe. No, I was like, I kept telling my friends, like, asking my friend, is this a dream? Is this happening right now? Tobey and Andrew are back in this movie as Spider-Man.
And all the Spideyers are going to be together. Like, it's just...
I couldn't stop geeking out.
Oh my lord. Like, my whole theater just erupted in applause. And it's just, like... and it's so good to see Tobey again as Spider-Man. It's good to see Andrew again as Spider-Man. I really liked him as Spider-Man. Alright? Like, you know, we said it. Like, he was a good Spider-Man.
Yeah. I'm so glad that they're back. Tobey and Andrew are back.
I'm glad they got another chance at the role.
Oh, yeah. Especially Andrew. And you fucking did amazing.
Oh, my God. And I love how he's just like, well, he's like, you're I love Ned's reaction. He's like, oh, it's just some random older guy. He's like, I'm Peter Parker I'm Peter Parker. It just came in through that thing. It's closed. It's so good. And the grandma's like really nice to him, and he just like waves. He gives that little like smile. Oh, this movie's perfect.
Man, I still can't believe that they did it.
Oh my god, I can't either, man. And and then Peter's just like, oh, if I came through that, and it's like implied like they both had like visions or something that this was going on, and they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna have to check that out. And it's just perfect. They're back, and I love also when Tobey sees Andrew, and he's like, wait, you're not. And he's like, what? And then they start shooting webs at each other, and they do like a little foot thing, and they shoot webs at each other, and it is just, oh, yes! Oh, this is what I needed.
Man, oh man. God.
Oh my god.
The crowd, man, the audience was still, like, rumbling. Man, God, it was so awesome.
Oh, yeah, and everyone's like, ooh, when they start, like, shooting webs at each other. Oh, man, and it's just like, oh, it's so good, man. Like, oh my god, like, this is perfect. Like, and Ned and MJ are like, well, we don't know where to find our Peter, and he's like, well, what's a place he goes to that, you know, like, what's a place that he goes to where everything is just too much, right? And I love how they both, like, finish the sentence, and he's all like, is all like, I went on like the Washington Bridge, and then Andrew's all like, Empire State Building, better view. He's like, yeah, that is a great view. I love that.
I love it. Whew.
Ned and MJ are like, wait a minute, I know where you could be, and then they end up finding Peter, and Peter is just like, he's a wreck after what happened to Aunt May. And they end up coming over, and they say, oh, hey, Peter, and they end up hugging it out, and it's just beautiful. I love the chemistry between Tom Holland and Jacob Bastian and Zendaya. It's just, it's beautiful, man.
It really is. It's so wholesome. I love it.
It's like, and she's all like, I brought some people here who might help. And we see the silhouettes of Peter, of Tobey and Andrew, and they come down, and it's just like, oh, yes. Oh, the 3 live-action Spider-Men coming together. Yes. This is what I freaking needed, man.
Yes. Once again, it actually happened.
Oh my god, it did! It did!
All 3 Spider-Men together.
I know. I know, man. Oh my.
I can't believe it.
Oh my, I can't either. This. God bless this movie. Jon Watts, you can go. You pat yourself on the back, man. This film's awesome.
You did it, man. You did it.
And I love this scene as well, because it just, again, perfectly captures who Spider-Man is. And actually reminds me of one of my favorite scenes from Into the Spider-Verse, when Peter and the other Peter, Spider-Man Noir, and everybody come over to talk with Miles after Uncle Aaron died. Spoilers, by the way, if you haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse. This is basically the live-action moment of this. The live-action version of that scene.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I love it.
I love that, Andrew shares losing Gwen, and he just sells that so much in that scene.
Man, I gotta say, as much as I love Tobey, and Tobey's the OG, you know that. Mm-hmm. Andrew fucking Garfield, he is truly amazing in this.
Oh my god, this is the redemption movie for him. He is outstanding in this.
Yes, Andrew, you should be happy. You finally got a better script to work with, and you are amazing in this.
Like, he got a good script for a Spider-Man movie. Like, he has a good Spider-Man movie. We finally got Andrew Garfield. He's one of my favorite parts of this whole movie.
Like, he showed up for this.
Oh, you can just tell he's having a blast. And you can tell he was probably just so blessed to play this role again after the reception last time. We even get some meta stuff about that, but we'll get to that later. But I love the little arcs. I love the differences between the 3 Spider-Men. Like, Tobey is kind of like the uncle, like he's the one who, he's seen the most. Like, he's the oldest Spider-Man. He's kind of like the dad of the 2,
Oh, yeah. He is like the dad of the 2.
And I love how Tobey Peter describes how what happened with him and Uncle Ben. And he's like, I remember I tracked down the guy who did it, and I killed him, and I still feel bad about it. It doesn't bring you any peace. And then Andrew, this beautiful man who looks like he hasn't showered in 3 days. This beautiful man just talks about how he lost Gwen. It's just how it affected him, and how he didn't become the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man anymore after that. And how he became bitter. It's freaking beautiful, man. Oh.
I know! It's so beautiful! And Andrew, once again, you're fucking amazing in this movie.
Oh my god, he is so good.
Oh man.
Just a testament of Andrew Garfield's ability to act. He is amazing in this. No pun intended.
Truly, honestly, amazing. No pun intended. He
is
my Lord. Truly amazing.
It's just, he's remarkable in this role. That's not even... He's outstanding in this. Oh my Lord.
He really is. I was so happy. And as much as I love my boy Tobey, Andrew really delivered here.
Oh, yeah, he steals the movie. Like, he stole this movie.
He really did.
No one, like, you know what? You cannot feel bad anymore about, the Spider-Man movies you were in. Like, you were in a good one, and we loved it. All right? Like, we just, this all-group hug with Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, I want to hug that man right now and say, like, you were in this movie, and you were great.
Like, I probably would cry while saying this. It's just like weeping like a child. Oh, man. Oh. But again, I just can't believe they did it. Like, it's unbelievable. Even when you're seeing it, you're just like, this is not happening right now. What did we do to deserve this?
I keep asking myself, is this a dream? It actually happened? Did this actually happen? All three of the live-action Spider-Man in the same movie.
Oh, my Lord. Just... Oh, man. I love how it's not just a reference. Like, they stay in for the rest of this movie. And it is great. Like, this next scene where they're just working on everything, and they're just, like, working off of each other. It's... Oh! It's so good! Like, I'm about to lose my voice.
I'm trying hard not to scream, because I don't want to lose my voice again. It's so good.
Oh, my Lord. He's so... It's just... Oh, and they're, like, comforting... But back to this scene. They comfort him, and they pretty much share their stories of who they lost. He's like, for me, it was Gwen. For me, it was my Uncle Ben. He's like, oh, yeah, I lost Uncle Ben, too. And he says, with great power, and then Tobey... And you just see him just, his light bulbs going off. He's like, comes great responsibility. Yeah, my Uncle Ben said that. He's like, yeah, my Uncle Ben said that too. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention this. Yeah, probably the best reciting of with great power there must come great responsibility since, the Raimi movies.
Oh, most definitely.
Oh, my Lord. And
once again...
Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, once again, the great power comes great responsibility line. It didn't feel tagged on or forced. It felt necessary.
Oh, yes. It's just like... Oh, it's just beautiful. It's like the MCU movies are like, you know what? We know the bad taste that the Amazing Spider-Man movies left in your mouth. We're just gonna not do that. And we're just gonna make these freaking awesome movies. I can't believe they did. That's all I can think about. I can't believe they did it.
No, I was just like, I kept geeking out. I was like, they're actually in this movie. I can't believe it.
Yeah, my mouth was... It's like, yeah, my mouth was just dropped the whole time they were there. And then they end up... And then the other Peters encourage Tom Holland Peter to fight in May's honor. That's what they fight for, is for the people that they've lost. People that they couldn't save. And again, it just made me think back to Into the Spider-Verse when Spider-Ham just turns the silliness off and just goes like, you can't save everyone. That's the hardest part of the job. And it's like, oh, so good. And we end up seeing the three Peters together developing a cure for the remaining villains. And I love how they work off of each other.
Me too. It is so... beautiful.
Oh, it's wonderful. And the other two Peters are talking it out, and they even get in a little joke about, hey, Peter, and then they all, look up, and it's like, no, the one on the computer. It's such an obvious joke, but it lands. It's like, oh, man, this movie is great.
Yeah, man, the audience was rolling at that scene. Oh, man.
I also love when they're all, I also love when Tobey's just like, they're like, oh yeah, we need web fluid. And he's like, oh, web fluid? He's like, yeah, man, we make like little web things. You don't have that? He's like, no, I could just kind of, and he just demonstrates. And I love how Andrew Garfield's like, whoa, bro, it's like he's that's that shit blows his mind. It's so good.
Yeah, he's so fascinated by it. He's like, how is that even possible?
And even Tom's just like, oh yeah, but Andrew's reaction is perfect. He's just like, how do you do that, man?
Andrew's so good in this.
Oh my god, he is. It's just God, he's so good in this.
Man, he is. Oh, I can't even. Man.
Oh man, and the Peters, they get along like a freaking house on fire. It's amazing. I love it. And then they create a cure, and then, like, Ned asks him, there's some good humorous moments where Ned asks him, like, hey, Peter, did you have a best friend in your timeline? And Toby's just like, yeah, he died in my arms, man. Like, he was trying to kill me. And then Ned is just like, he's freaked out by it, and he's all like, what? And he, like, walks over to Peter, and it's like, it's so sad, but it's so funny, and it's like, I love Ned, man. It's just, I love him. He's all like, Peter, please, please, I hope we don't come to the point where we try and kill each other. And he's like, nah, man, never, bro. And they just, like, bro it out. Oh, like, their friendship is so beautiful, man.
Man, we don't deserve that.
Oh, my God. Just our Lord and Savior. Like, pray to Ned at night. Just like, you know what, guys? Be more like Ned. That's the lesson we got here today.
Yes.
When you have your friends, be more like Ned. Keep the Neds around.
Yes, please.
And I love how it's almost like you're catching up with an old friend in this scene. And, you know, it's almost like they're catching up. It's like we are catching up with them. And it's like, it's not fan service, you know? It's like, it's characters talking about their lives. And it's beautiful, man. And
yeah.
Because, you know, after Spider-Man 3, even though I was kind of underwhelmed, like, you know, I wanted to see what happened next, you know? Because, you know, I love the first two movies. And, you know, I love the characters in those movies. And he says, yeah, my MJ, and it took a while, but we made it work. And then he asks, you know, Andrew, and then Andrew's all like, no, I don't have that much time for, you know, Peter Parker stuff. Kind of just full Spider-Man. And you feel so bad for him. It's like... And he looks like he hasn't, like, showered in 3 days. You're just like... Ugh. I love Andrew Garfield in this. Because he's funny, but you feel bad for him, but you also, like, root for him. It's beautiful, man.
Yeah, and, like, after people watch the Andrew and No Way Home, people are wanting Amazing Spider-Man 3 now. I'm like, yeah, I want one. Yeah, I'm on board. Oh, my God, yeah. Everyone was just like, oh, yes, let's make a new Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie. Is it going to make sense after those first two abysmal movies? No, but we want it because we want him back as Spider-Man because he was so good in this. Man, he fucking showed up for this. As I said, he showed up. Oh my God, he's so good. He's so good in this. We don't deserve this. Don't. Anyway, so they end up making cures for everybody, and then we get the final showdown. And, you know, I thought the final showdown for Shang-Chi was fucking awesome. And, like, Infinity War, that was freaking awesome. Endgame, that was a banger. Oh, my God. This might be one of my favorite climactic battles in the MCU. Up there with, like, The Winter Soldier, Infinity War, you know, Endgame, Iron Man, all that stuff. This is up there with some of the best MCU climactic battles ever. I'm just going to say, it might be my favorite, because, once again, all three live-action Spider-Men together. Who would have thunk? It's exactly, it's just like, it's like, we suspected it was going to happen, yet we still couldn't believe they actually did it. Like, it's just... I can't believe it, man. I love it. Oh, man, I can't believe it. I know, man. It's oh God. We need to get the rest of this movie. We need to get the rest of this. So they're waiting at this tower, and Tom Holland ends up calling into the Daily Bugle, and he's all like, "Oh, we get Spider-Man, Peter Parker," and he's all like, "Hey, what is like?" And Peter just gives this really like heartfelt thing about, "Look, I know I messed things up, but I was just trying to protect people, and well." I hope I can still do that now. It's just like, oh, it's so good, man. Oh, my God. Man, I love it. Oh. Anyways.
So then we end up seeing them all together at the new Statue of Liberty, which has the shield from Captain America. And they start talking. We even get a little reference to the meme where they're all pointing at each other, and it's really awesome. And oh yeah, there's also this other great scene where he's all like, "Yo, that's this new youth pastor here. Where's your Spider-Man costume?" And Pete and Toby just kind of shows it under his shirt, just all casual, like okay, yeah, man.
Man, Andrew, you're gonna dress up as a cool youth pastor?
It's so good, man. Oh my god. And Peter just and the Peters start talking, and of course, Andrew Peter is still freaking geeking out over the fact that Toby can just shoot webs out of his hands. And he's like, "Bro, how do you do that?" He's like, I don't know, man." And he's all like, "Have you ever gotten blocked up?" He's like, "Yeah, man, that's happened to me." He's all like, "Yo, man, I went through an existential crisis, man. I got over it." And then he talks about, he's like, "Dude, I had to fight this black goo one time." And you're just like, "Oh my god, yes."
And then Tom's like, "I fought an alien too under Bandit Space. He was purple."
Oh my lord, yes. And he's all like, "Yeah, I was a part of the Avengers." And he's like, "Oh, what's that, a rock band?" Oh wait, that's later.
Yeah.
So they call out the villains and they end up showing up and a big battle ends up beginning, and it is awesome.
Man,
love this climactic battle.
I must tell you, the audience could not stop cheering. They were cheering until the final battle, until the movie end. This final battle, might be my favorite climactic battle ever. Yes, more so than Endgame. This is just crowd-pleasing.
Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention, Andrew pops Tobey Maguire's back because of that whole joke about his back and, that whole thing. It's so delightful! It's
Is this real life? Is this happening right now?
Oh my god, it's just, it doesn't feel that way, but it is. It's just like, oh.
Yeah, they actually did it. When Andrew was helping Toby with his back problems, I was like, this isn't real. This must be a dream. This is not happening right now.
I know, and it's just like, oh. So then all the villains, but yeah, I wanted to bring that up, because I freaking love that moment as well. But, so the gang show up, and the Spider-Men start fighting, and, well, it doesn't go well at first. Andrew Garfield, of course, he's right back on tip-top form. He's being snappy with them, and, oh my god, it's just, he's like, "Hey, Max, I like the new redesign." He's all like, "Shut up," and he's just, blowing shit up. It's like, and Toby's just, running around, and he's, trying to fight everybody, and they're getting, their asses handed to him, and they're and they try, to cure everybody, and he, webs up, Connor. He's like, "Look, man, I'm sorry, I'll be right back, okay?" And he's all and they end up getting their asses handed to him, and then it's and then the Peters reconvene, are "Okay, this is not working." It's what are we gonna do? So then Tom Holland Peter's all "Yo, I've been in a team, okay? So we're gonna have to do this teamwork thing, okay?" And they're all "Oh, okay." And he's like, "All right, I was in a team called the Avengers." And then Tobey Maguire's like, "Yo, what's that? Is that a band?" He's like, No. They're Earth's Mightiest Heroes. You don't have that in your world? And they're like, "No." So it's so good, and it's
I love it.
And so he explains, "Okay, look, that's not the point. The point is we gotta work as a team here, all right? So just follow my lead, all right?" And everyone's all "Okay, cool." And they point at each other to reference the meme. Oh! I'm about to weep.
Man, I'm still geeking out.
It's like syndrome. Oh man, I'm still geeking out about it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like that. I'm like Syndrome from The Incredibles. That's how I am right now.
He's using the body, the Hydro and Brit. Oh man, I'm still geeking out about it. Incredibles. That's another movie we should talk about at some point, because I freaking love that movie. So the Peters have a battle, and it is just epic. And they just fight it out, and then it's just this epic battle. It is the Spider-Man Endgame. Like, it is just as epic as Endgame was.
I would say more so because nobody thought this would happen.
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man teaming up together?
Oh, and just seeing them swing together is just, oh my god.
Oh, man. The crowd was rumbling, and man, I was screaming even more. My throat was hurting, but I don't care. I'm more than proud to lose my voice over this.
Oh my god, the nerdgasm was unbelievable.
Boy, man.
Oh, man, it's just... this movie, man! Like, ah! Oh, so Ned and MJ try to help out, and they have, like, a thing, but Ned doesn't really know how the ring works. So Doc Connors gets loose and accidentally attacks them, but then Tom Holland's like, oh shit, so he saves them. They end up running back over, and... wait, I think they cure Sandman first.
Yeah, they cure Sandman first.
Yeah, I mean, Peter, and I love Tobey, he's just like, look, Marco, we're trying to save you! And Marco's just like, I want to get back to my daughter! It's just like, it's delightful, and you can just tell that they have the thing from Spider-Man 3, and it's, ugh! But it gets better. So then, they're just fucking blowing shit up everywhere, and it's just, oh my lord. It's insane. And just the 3 Spider-Men teaming up, all of them, from all of the movies, it's awesome. Beyond any measure of the imagination.
I still can't believe it. I was gonna keep saying that. I still can't believe it.
It's so... Do you need a minute, Jacob? Are you okay?
No, I'm actually sweating because I'm like, I still can't believe it.
You're not sweating in anger this time?
No, it's in joy. It's in joy this time, my
Joy
friend.
sweat? That's I like that. I dig that. But yeah, so jeez. Okay. So the Peters end up, so Tom Holland Peter, the MCU Peter, ends up going in and trying to stop the lizard. That ends up going a little well. And then Ned does his little thing, and then Doctor Strange just shows up. He's like, it's just like in Thor Ragnarok where Loki's like, I've been falling for 30 minutes. Doctor Strange is like, I've been walking through the desert for who knows how long. I forgot what he says. What?
He's been dangling over the Grand Canyon for 12 hours.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Everything is so great in this. Like, there's, like... Ugh.
Oh, man. Man, even, like, seeing, like, the old schools, seeing Andrew and, like, Jamie Foxx as a lecturer reunite again, that was extremely satisfying. And seeing Otto and Tobey seeing each other again.
I was about to bring that up. Like, don't spoil that. But yes, that is great. What were you saying? Continue what you were saying, though.
Yeah, just seeing them interact. We're kind of all over the place, so you know what? Fuck, I'm going to mention it. Seeing Otto, he's about to say, the power of the sun, and then Tobey steps in, finishes the line, in the palm of your hand. And then, I must say, this is a scene where I cried, because hearing Tobey's theme in the background.
Oh my god.
It brought tears to my eyes.
Oh, and when him and Doc Ock see each other again and it's like friendly. Oh, it's just like I got the feels, man. Like, it was beautiful. It's like, and he's like, hey, he's like, Peter, my boy, you've grown up. And he's like, yeah. He's like, how are you? And he's like, I'm making a good go at it. Trying to make a go at it, or I forget exactly what he says. But it's just beautiful.
Also a callback to Spider-Man 2, trying to do better when Otto asked him, how are you?
Yeah, I mean, I thought they were going to do the brilliant but lazy line again, but they didn't. But I don't mind. But, that would have been nice too. But hey, I really love that scene, though, when he comes back and he's all like, and he, like, shows up and you think he's about to, like, turn on them again, but then he just takes the thing and just zaps Electro with it. It's just... Yes!
Yes!
Oh my god. And then, probably my favorite part, and the one that got everyone freaking cheering, MJ ends up, like, falling, and Andrew's like, oh, shit. This was the most just fuck yes moment in the whole movie, where he just jumps down, and he saves her. And it's just like, yes!
Yes!
And I love Andrew Garfield's reaction. He's just crying. He's like, oh, thank you. And he's all like crying. He's all like, no problem. You know, it's like, ugh!
Man, that was so satisfying.
Oh, it was so beautiful.
Like, Carlton told me, he's like, I called it. I knew Andrew was going to catch MJ. I knew it.
Yeah, man. It was just like, oh my god, it's so beautiful.
Man, the audience was cheering. Man, I cannot believe. Man, I was like, fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah, they also cure Connors, which he turns back into Rhys Ifans for like 5 minutes. He's just like sitting there like, you know. Oh, God. You know, and everyone comes back, and everyone seems fine, and everyone's all good, and, oh yeah, also Peter and, Andrew Peter and Dylan, Jamie Foxx, making peace with each other. It's actually kind of nice.
It is nice.
He's like, yo, could you take off your mask, man? And he just, like, takes it off. He's like, ah. He's like, oh, what? He's all like, oh, I thought you'd be black. Jamie Foxx is so good in this. Like, he's hilarious in this.
Man, this was also his redemption, and man, you were fucking great.
Oh, my lord, yes, he was.
He was menacing, he was badass, but also hilarious. So good.
Oh, my lord. So everyone seems fine, but then Green Goblin shows up, and he's decked out. I forgot to mention this. He's decked out in a new suit, which I might even say is even better than the last one he was in. He just has goggles and a little scarf and a little hood. I like it. I really like that design. I'm like, damn, like that. It's good, man. I like it.
Me too. That's ripped right from the comics.
Oh yeah, it's great, and he's just gliding around, and then it turns from like uplifting to just like really dark in like a second, because then Peter's all like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fuck this dude up. So then this just epic final fight between Peter, Tom Holland, and Norman Osborn as Willem Dafoe, and oh man, it is yet again another brutal fight. And Norman accidentally destroys the box, because they gave him the box back to try and get everything back in order. But Green Goblin, being the chaotic mess that he is, destroys it. And him and Peter end up throwing down. And yo, you want to take this from here, Jacob, real quick?
Oh yeah. Oh god. And we get to the final battle between Spidey and Goblin. And Tom Holland, you can see in his face that he's just like ready to like just fucking rail it on him. And being Goblin, he's like, oh, poor Peter, trying to save everyone and deal with the consequences and all that. And then Peter's like, I just want to kill you myself. And Goblin's like, that a boy. And man, this scene, this is fucking brutal, man.
Oh my god.
He was just like shitting his pants, like this is fucking scary as fuck. I was like, yeah, man, this scene is fucking brutal and intense as hell.
Oh, and he just fucking wails on him. Like, it's not like, oh, it's a brutal fight too. Again, just like right out of the Raimi movies, he's just walloping his ass.
Yeah, he's just like punching him. He's getting every chance he gets to just like rail on him.
And he ends up defeating him, and he almost kills him, but our boy, fucking Tobey Maguire, just comes in and stops him. It's just like it's so beautiful.
Oh, it's so beautiful. He didn't even have to say anything. You can just tell in his face, he's like, don't do this. This is not who we are.
He's just like, no. And he doesn't even have to say anything. Tobey Maguire, man, great actor. Just, oh my god,
yeah,
he's so good.
You can just tell by his face reaction, he's like, don't do this, don't do this. So beautiful.
And it's like he just softly lets him put it down. And then, like, this shit actually scared me. He just gets stabbed in the back by Norman. And oh my god, I was like, oh no.
Oh, you guys better not dare. My theater gasp.
Oh man, he just stabs him in the back and he just, like, falls over. And then he's like, no! And then, like, Andrew's like, yo, I got you, buddy. He, like, throws it at him. He just gets it. He just zaps him with the cure. And then he's Norman Osborn again. And he can finally just... thank God. It's over. For now. But then we get another problem where Doctor Strange is trying to close everything. And I'm surprised this isn't a meme. But he's all like, there's too many coming in. And I can't stop them. You know? And like you can see like this purple of all these villains who know who Peter Parker is. You can see the Rhino, and I'm just like, oh my god, he's in his suit. Oh. And
oh yeah.
Like, you know, when they stabbed Peter, like Tobey, I thought he was gonna die. I'm like, oh my god, he better not die, because if he dies, I'm ugly crying.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna ugly cry if he died. But no, it's funny because he's all like. And, like, Andrew's like, oh my god, are you okay, man? He's like, nah, I'm good. I've been stabbed. It's alright. Classic Peter. He's just like, I'm fine. Like, I've been stabbed.
Yeah, I've been stabbed before. I'm good.
And, you know, Tobey sells it, man. It feels like that shit hurts, because I've heard being stabbed is an extremely painful experience.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my god. It's just like... Oh man, I'm like, if he died, I was gonna ugly cry. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not even call me a pussy all you want in the comments. Like, I was gonna cry.
No, we're fans here, people. So you can judge us all you want. I would have bawled my eyes out.
But luckily he doesn't, and it's like really nice. It's, So anyways, Peter ends up looking around, and then he realizes the only way that he's going to solve this problem is if Doctor Strange does the original spell. And Doctor Strange just says, alright, fine, we'll do it. And this, by far, has to be, like, the most brutal thing that has ever happened to any Spider-Man. Like, I'm not even kidding.
God, honestly, like, this spell... not only makes people forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, but also makes everyone forget. Everyone who Peter Parker knows and loves forget who he is. It's like he's a ghost. Man, it is fucking brutal and heart-wrenching.
Oh my god, and he's just like... And, oh... It's just... It's like... I wouldn't even wish this on my worst enemy. Like, this is horrible. In a good way. Not like this is a horrible, like, part of the movie. It's just like, oh, it's so sad. But, you know, it's like, that's the thing. You know, with great power comes great responsibility. And Peter has to sacrifice sometimes. And it's just like this, it's so sad. And Peter just, he accepts it. And it's like, he's no longer the geeky kid worshipping Tony Stark. You know, he's Spider-Man. He is Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's his own hero now. He is Spider-Man now.
And it's just like, it's so sad. And the score from Michael Giacchino, who is quickly becoming one of my favorite movie composers. He's doing the Batman next year, and oh my god. But just, oh, man. It's so, like, the music, the emotion, the Peter's hugging, it's just, oh my god.
Oh god. Man, God, and when he says goodbye to the other Spider-Man, it brought a tear to my eye. It was so beautiful.
It was so good, and I bet everyone in my theater was crying, but it was just like, when they all hugged, it was beautiful.
Oh yeah, and when Peter was trying to thank him, they were both like, we know, it's what we do. God, it's beautiful.
Oh my god, it's just like, yes. It's like a real life Into the Spider-Verse.
It really is.
Oh man, but he ends up going to Ned and MJ, and this is the one that I didn't cry, but this one just got me in the feels, because it's just like this great friendship he had with Ned, which is one of my favorite part of the MCU movies. Now Ned's just gonna forget he ever existed, and it is so, like, oh my god.
God, it is heart-wrenching. Man, it almost brought a tear to my eyes seeing Ned and Peter say goodbye. Now you're gonna forget who I am.
And MJ, they're like, oh yeah, let's go home. And he's like, yeah, there's a thing. You're gonna forget who I am. And they're like, what? And it's like, it's not corny. There's no bullshit in the scene. It's just raw emotion, man. It's just, ugh. And just
man.
And, MJ and Peter's relationship's going to end, and it's like, oh my lord. And she's all like, please come find us. And Peter promises that he will.
Yeah, man, this scene. I thought Tony Stark's death in Endgame made me emotional. This entire scene, it got the feels.
Oh my god. It's perfectly directed. It's shot well. That doesn't even matter. It's directed well. The writing is just on point. It's wonderful, but it's just so set. Like, that's Spider-Man right there.
This is Spider-Man.
Like, every time he gets beaten down, every time he fixes the situation, it always costs him something. And this is probably the most brutal.
Oh, yeah, I would say it's the most brutal one out of all the shit that's happened to Peter Parker.
And everyone disappears, including Mopey, Norman Osborn, and the other Peters, and everybody else. And Doc Ock, I just love his little smile before he disappears. It's just like, it's beautiful.
Man, you guys are trying to make me cry every chance you get, aren't you?
Oh, man. And just everyone disappears. And then it's over. No one knows who Peter is anymore. No one knows Peter is Spider-Man. And nobody even knows who Peter Parker is anymore.
No, he's a ghost now.
Yep, pretty much. And also saying goodbye to Doctor Strange is pretty good, but not as good as the ones to the other Peters and MJ and Ned.
Yeah, I also love that when Peter says, thank you, sir, he's like, don't call me sir, call me Steven.
Ah, man! Oh. Anyway. Jeez. So, everyone gets back to normal, and Peter ends up basically becoming like a ghost, like Jacob said. He ends up moving to a new apartment, and he ends up visiting. A few weeks later, we see Peter kind of being Peter, classic Parker thing, where he's trying to read something, where he's trying to read a note of what he was going to say to MJ and Ned, and he sees them and he gets a coffee from them, and I love this scene because it's Peter, it's Tom Holland without saying it, you can just see it through his facial expressions. It's him realizing that, this all happened because I couldn't live with this failure, and maybe now I should live with this failure. And it's like, and he gets a coffee from her, he sees Ned again, and you can tell that Zendaya, you can tell that the MJ almost has this sense of deja vu. Oh, it's so beautifully blocked and everything. I love this scene.
Man, it's so good. You can tell, Peter, he's trying to, MJ remember who he is and the experience and everything that they went through together. But you can tell in Peter's face, he's like, all of this happened because of me, and you guys were hurt because of me. And he just decides, I'm going to take my coffee and leave. God, that's Spider-Man right there. That's Spider-Man.
Yeah, and it's just he's like, you know what? I'm just going to live with this failure. And not even this, or maybe, I don't even know if failure is the right word, but just this setback.
Yes.
I'm just going to live with it now. And then he ends up going to May's grave, and he sees Happy, who also doesn't remember him. And they have this just beautiful conversation. I forget exactly what they say, but I remember the emotions it made me feel. It was really very touching film. Or a very touching moment.
Oh, yeah. And as a person who loves Peter and Happy's relationship, it almost... it got me in the feels. I was like, man, Happy doesn't know who Peter is, and this scene is just beautiful.
Oh my god! And then he's like, I'm gonna keep going on, and then we get to the end of the movie and it ends on a really bittersweet moment, on a very bittersweet note. Peter ends up moving into an apartment, and I swear to God, I was waiting for Mr. Ditkovich to show up and demand his rent. That would have been a great post-credit scene, by the way.
Oh yeah.
But I had a couple of ideas for post-credit scene, but we'll talk about that. But Peter ends up moving into an apartment. He gets the police scanner thing that the Tobey Peter had, and he ends up going out as Spider-Man in a new suit. And that's the end of Spider-Man. No Way Home. Oh my god.
Oh man, that ending, I loved it. It was so satisfactory and bittersweet, as you said. Man, this movie, I love it.
And and then we get to the post-credits scene where we see Eddie Brock. You're like, oh shit. And this is a thing. I like this. I like this post-credit scene, actually. Even though I don't like those Venom movies. Tom Hardy is great as Venom once again. And he's like, and this Mexican guy's basically explaining to him what all happened. He's like, wait, you guys got, like, snapped away? He's like, man, I lost my whole family to this. He's like, okay, sorry. I didn't know. It's, like, really funny. And then he's all like, I don't know what happened. And then he gets zapped away. And you're like, oh. The guy's just like, shit. Didn't even pay his tab. And then we see the Venom some of the symbiote has been left behind. I was like, oh my god! Like, oh!
I was like, oh yeah!
Like, Brov's like, ooh! And then that's like the end. And then we get a teaser for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which also looks phenomenal.
Oh boy, man, it looks fucking awesome. Sam Raimi in the Marvel Universe directing a Marvel movie again. Oh hell yeah.
I actually had, while I like the post-credit scenes, I did actually have like a couple of ideas, like one where Peter is just like sitting around, like Peter's like walking down the apartment stairs, and then like it's an alternate version of Mr. Ditkovich asking for rent.
I would have loved that.
Oh my god, that would have been amazing. Also, another one is that another person, Mysterio. You see the familiar thing of Mysterio, but then he takes the fishbowl off, and it's your boy, Bruce Campbell. That would have been perfect. As great as this movie was, as perfect as this film is, if that would have been a post-credit scene, oh my god, I would have just been like, yes, this movie, 5 stars.
No, it's like already an A+. Yes, Bruce Campbell is Mysterio. Oh my god, yeah, A+ movie already.
Oh my god, that's just some fan pitches of mine, but oh my god. But the movie we got, I love this film. This was everything I wanted it to be, and even more. This film surprised me in some ways that I didn't even expect. Far more emotional than I thought it would be.
Oh yeah, this movie surpassed my expectations in like so many surprises, so many unexpected twists. The action is intense, the best I've seen in the MCU Spider-Man movies. The emotion, everyone brought their A game. The fan service, this is fan service at its finest. I love it.
Oh man, and it's just like it's a Spider-Man film in the MCU. It's the MCU Spider-Man film that feels most like a Spider-Man film, aside from Homecoming. This movie, like, I think everybody agrees now. That's Spider-Man. That's who Spider-Man is. Even though the other 2 movies are really good, and I'll give my rankings of the MCU movies so far, but this movie just it feels the most like a Spider-Man movie. It's just amazing.
And another thing that's so like it's so relaxing for me. There's no the people who have trash on Tom Holland Spidey, they were like, you know what? No Way Home. This is Spider-Man right here. So you know what? We'll admit that we were we apologize to you, Tom Holland, because you were amazing in No Way Home.
Hey, but I always believed in you, Tom Holland.
Yeah, we always did.
we're in the we liked Tom Holland before it was cool camp.
Yes, we loved you before, and this is the best you have been, and you really delivered here, man.
But yeah, this movie just easily jumped to my favorite MCU Spider-Man movie. It's this one, Homecoming, and Far From Home so far. This movie's incredible. It is outstanding, spectacular, amazing, ultimate. All the other Spidey pun words. All of those words just sums up this movie.
God, this is the best, easily the best MCU Spidey film, and my favorite live-action Spidey film since Spider-Man 2. For me, it's in my top 3 MCU films of all time. I'm not even joking. This movie gave me everything I've wanted and more.
I mean, 2021's been impressive because 2 MCU movies are now in my top 10. This is in my top 5 to 10 MCU movies ever.
Oh, mine too. Shang-Chi and No Way Home in my top 5 of 2021 movies.
Oh my god, it's incredible. This film is incredible. This is genre superhero filmmaking at its finest. We get callbacks, but they don't feel obnoxious or just doing it for the sake of it. It's just everything that they could have done right. They just did it right. Andrew Garfield, incredible. He stole this damn movie.
He really did. Man, he was so good in this. Make Amazing Spider-Man 3 after seeing this. Give us Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, I'm all, when I finished this, I'm like, damn, I want to see what they're up to now. Fuck. I want to see what Tobey and Andrew Spider-Man are up to.
Oh, yeah, me too. I want to see what they're up to now, yeah.
It's just this movie's incredible. This film, it's we almost got the Sinister Six. They're really cock-teasing us with the Sinister Six, and we basically got it with this movie, and it's yes.
Yes. This is what I've wanted.
Oh, man. It's so good. Why? Oh, it's beautiful.
I love it. Love it. Love this movie.
I mean, this film is just incredible. There's nothing more I can say. This is one of the best Spider-Man films ever. It's my favorite Spidey movie since Into the Spider-Verse. It's also my favorite live-action movie since Spider-Man 2. It is that good, people. Believe the hype, everybody. This is not just overhyped. This is legitimately an excellent movie.
It really is. Fan service at its finest. They didn't just give us the original villains and Tobey and Andrew just for the sake of it. They all gave them a purpose, and actually they made Tom Holland Spidey, make him become Spider-Man. It actually helped develop Tom Spidey even more. Fan service at its finest. You want to see good fan service, Hollywood? Here it is right here. God, I love this movie.
But yes, No Way Home, man. And it also got me hyped for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I saw that trailer when it got leaked, but oh man, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, it looks incredible. If Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is as good as this movie is, oh my god, we're gonna be in a new golden age of MCU movies.
Oh, we are. I mean, we kind of already are. I mean, we got Shang-Chi, which was amazing, and now No Way Home, which was incredible.
Oh my lord! I mean, this film is just even people who were sick of MCU, friends of mine who were I'm sick of the MCU, they love this movie. The Critical Drinker, who's this contrarian guy on the YouTube, he loved this movie. Check it out, people! It is amazing.
Even High Top Films said this movie kind of fixed the MCU Spidey movies.
Oh my, yeah, and he's the one who's, and that dude's I think he's the biggest Spider-Man nerd. He's a bigger Spider-Man fan than us.
Oh yeah.
I think he's the biggest Spider-Man fan ever. And even he's dude, this movie's a real deal. This film is incredible.
Even Carlton said this movie was awesome, and he has been underwhelmed by the MCU Spidey movies.
I think he unfairly did with. I mean, we've argued about this, but he's a bit unfair with the Homecoming. But I can see where he's coming from with Far From Home. But No Way Home. It's like this is the movie that just brought everybody together. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, as you said, this is a love letter to all Spider-Man fans.
Oh my god, yes. This is a movie that's like, oh, you thought we were fucking around with Spider-Man? Oh, we'll give you the best Spider-Man shit ever. And he did.
Man, God, I love this movie.
It also got me invested in those terrible Venom movies. This movie rocks! Like, how did they do that? I don't know. This film is incredible. A+ probably for me. A- at least, if I'm being a little harder on it. If I weren't a little harder on it, it'd be an A+.
Oh, I say it's an A+. This might be my favorite film of this year. I don't care. Top 3 for MCU films of all time. Top 5, maybe top 3. This movie is amazing.
Oh, man, it's incredible. It's just, oh, man. This movie's so good.
God, it's so great to be a Spider-Man fan.
Oh, man. Oh, it's so good. So yeah, that was our take on Spider-Man No Way Home. You know, I mean, I'm a little burnt out on the superhero movies at the moment, but man, I'm really sad that this is coming to an end.
Me too. This was fun. This was really fun to talk about all the Spider-Man movies.
Oh man, you know, I've just like, you know, it's been fun. Even talking about the bad ones, which weren't even that long. You know, this was fun. I really enjoyed it.
Me too. Yeah. Even though I'm like kind of glad that we're gonna take a break from talking about comic book movies, man, these were extremely fun. And talking about No Way Home, man, brought a smile to my face.
Oh man. But yeah, this has been a really fun series. I really enjoyed doing this, talking about all the live action films of one of my favorite superheroes, my second favorite anyway, right behind Batman. But so yeah, I ended up doing some counting while we were gone. It's gonna be Jacob's turn to pick the movie or whatever we're doing next week, because we are at the peak of the new year. I can't believe it. Merry Christmas, everyone. We're recording this a day after Christmas, but Merry Christmas to everybody.
Oh yeah, hope you all had a great Christmas.
Oh, but yeah, Jacob, what's your, do you have anything in mind for next week? Because you're the one who's choosing.
Oh yeah, since it's my turn to pick, I've officially made my decision. Next week, I want to do a guest episode.
Oh.
And my movie of choice, Django Unchained, and I want to bring our good old buddy Carlton Bacon on here because he loves it. Oh
dear. Oh man, the Django Unchained. We're going from a Spider-Man movie to a Tarantino film. What a tonal whiplash. Oh my god. I might need to see it again. It's been some time, and it's actually one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite Tarantino films.
It's my personal favorite Tarantino film.
Oh man, like it's a great film. So I guess we're talking about the Django Unchained next week, and that's gonna be fun. We're gonna get Carlton on here if we can convince him to come on here.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'll be more than happy to talk about Django Unchained.
I'm actually excited to do a guest spot because I've wanted to do one, but we got kind of carried away with the Spider-Man movies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Anyways, so on this pretty long episode of Brit and Jake Go to Movies, I've been Britton.
And I've been Jacob.
And we do it for the love of the movies. Mostly.
Yes, we do.
Today, at least, we are. Oh, man. Anyways, see you all later, everyone.
See you later.